Stay Tuned Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of two possibly intoxicated idiots watching the National Football League.
Welcome everybody to Stay Tuned Sports. I'm your boy King, hanging out with you alone for game number 3 here of the day. We watched the Giants and the football team of Redskins Commanders at the 1 o'clock hour, where the Giants went ahead and lost due to a combination of bad referee calls, which we've seen for the last couple of weeks when it comes to the Giants, and of course, bad Brian Daboll calls, which we've seen all fucking season long, which has cost us so many goddamn games. Anyway, then we watched the Detroit Lions take on the Green Bay Packers in their throwback uniforms in a rainy, cold, and windy Lambeau Field. And they came out of there with a win, a victory, and a rather easy victory, if we are going to say that. And indeed, Hamster, with the astute observation, Brian Daboll always going for 2 goddamn points. Nick Sirianni almost ran into that problem, too, where the Eagles had a 22-0 lead over the Jacksonville Jaguars and let them come all the way back in the game due to a combination of continually trying to go for 2-point conversions when you score touchdowns and missing every single one, and just bad play calling, turnovers, inopportune turnovers at the time. And man, the Eagles were this close to blowing that game, and God, I kind of wish they did. I'd love to see Nick Sirianni be fired. So that would be fun. Just get some misery for the Eagles fans out there. Would make this Giants fan feel a little bit better about his own misery in life that is going on. But anyway, here we are for Sunday Night Football. The Indianapolis Colts taking on the Minnesota Vikings. I believe we've already heard old Sweet Cheeks there. Oh, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to say. Oh my God, I'm going to be canceled. Anyway, Carrie Underwood has sang her song, She Could Not Wait for Sunday Night. And indeed, now Sunday night is here. So we are awaiting the kickoff here. They have apparently finished the national anthem there as they are walking off the giant American flag as we see Melissa Stark. Some other scores throughout the NFL today. The Chargers with a 27-10 win over the Cleveland Browns. Baltimore laid the smacketh down on the Denver Broncos 41-10. Broncos, they seem to be hanging around in the first half, but second half, Baltimore decided to say, nuh-uh. Buffalo with a 30-27 win over Miami. Last second field goal bites Miami in the ass yet again. Atlanta with a 27-21 win over Dallas. The game was not as close as the score indicated. Dallas tried to get an onside kick there at the end of the game. Did not work. Atlanta ran out the clock. Carolina gets their second win of the year against the team that blew them out in Game 1. The New Orleans Saints have lost their 7th game in a row. So sorry, Pecan, who is still our leader in the clubhouse when it comes to our donation station donations, as you see in the ticker. If you want to go ahead and beat that, donate more than $15, you get your name in the ticker. But right now, Pecan is leading there, and really the only thing leading when it comes to the Saints, as they have lost 7 in a row and lost to Carolina 23-22. Tennessee with a 20-17 win over New England in overtime. New England with a hell of a play to get into overtime as Drake May just kind of threw it up in the air after running around for 12 seconds, and it came down into the hands of a Patriot receiver, but they were unable to capitalize in overtime. Tennessee wins 20-17. We know how the Giants did. We talked about that. Cincinnati with a 41-24 win over the Raiders. Arizona laying the smack on the Bears, who did not get over their loss to the Commanders apparently yet. So who is this? Jamie Erdahl, the host of Good Morning Football, is going to be blowing the big horn there in Minnesota as they do the Skol chant there. And as we also mentioned, the Eagles narrowly escaping the Jacksonville Jaguars comeback attempt 28 to 23 in that game there. And then, of course, some of the other games here, the last ones. The Rams beating the Seahawks. Again, that one was in overtime. The Seahawks came back, tied it 20-20, went in overtime. The Rams scored a touchdown, though. Ended the game right there, 26-20. And yes, there's the game that we had talked about and we had watched right here on Stay Tuned Sports if you were hanging out with us. And if you're hanging out with us now, we certainly would love for you to do so. If you like what you're watching, please hit the like button. Share us around. Hit that share button. Helps us out tremendously. Share it to your friends, your family, people you know, people you don't know, people you love, people you hate, people you barely even interact with. Family members who you haven't seen in 20 years and don't care to. Send it to them. Any eyeballs will be great on here. And the Colts are going to get the kickoff here. They're going to get the first possession, as we're going to go ahead and give them the possession ball here with the kickoff. Hamster in the chat says the Vikings fans are weird. I don't think they're weird. I just think they're fun. It's quirky. It's Minnesota, so, it's Minnesota. What are you going to do? It's cold. You got some hockey up there. State of hockey. So you got hockey, you got cold, and you got your Vikings. So Skol away. Nothing like cheering for some tobacco dip. Anyway, 1st and 10. Joe Flacco under center. Pittman in motion. It's going to be a handoff here to Jonathan Taylor, and that's going to be a gain of about 2 yards for Taylor. Maybe 3. We'll see where they spot that. As we are now underway here on Sunday Night Football. Hamster says I can still make fun of the Vikings. Yes, you can. You can make fun of anybody. You can make fun of anybody. Just don't make fun of Travis Kelce's brother. Jason Kelce's brother, they're brothers. Don't make fun of either one of them because they'll both kick everybody's ass. So, I definitely wouldn't want to mess with Jason. He's just retired. So 2nd and 7, another handoff here to Jonathan Taylor. Breaks through. It looks like he might have been stopped a couple times, but he gets through about a yard short of the first down. It's going to be 3rd and 1 coming up here for the Colts. By the way, I saw this on the Twits, the ex-Twitter there, and this is a bad beat. And I'll get into this in a second. Maybe after this play, we'll see what happens here. 13:52 here remaining in the first as we just started this game, baby. Just kicked off. We are on the Colts' first drive. If you're watching along, thank you so much for doing so. Play clock at 5. Flacco takes the snap, throws down the field. That's going to be caught. And a first down in Vikings territory. Who's that? Granson with the reception. And that's going to be a first down for the Colts. Kylan Granson was indeed the receiver on that play. Here we go. Gain of 22 yards as they are now on the Vikings' 39-yard line. Hand off to Taylor again. Big hole, runs right up the middle. And that's going to be another first down. Gain of 13 yards. Colts moving the ball here. Anyway, the bad beat I was talking about is Tua had a prop bet that was 243.5 yards for the game as far as passing yards. He had 254 yards with 5 seconds left to go as the Dolphins were trying to go ahead and see if they could pull out a miracle win. Jalen Waddle, on taking that pass and trying to do the backwards passes and everything like that, ran for, whoa, is that a fumble? That's a ball. The ball was out. It never, oh no! Oh, that's going to be a fumble. Who has it? Who has it? Who has it? Who has it? And the officials say it is the Vikings. Oh, the Colts had a hell of a drive going, and immediately, bad exchange between Flacco and Taylor. The ball squirts out, greased pig, and Minnesota recovers. Oh, no. Hamster, just before that, had said the Colts were going to win the AFC South now, especially if the Texans take a step backwards. And then, whoops, That's immediate cold take right there. Boy, freezing cold takes was in YouTube chat rooms. That would be up there, hipster. Oh, that is not the way. I mean, it was going the way you want to start a game, and then immediately not the way you want to start the game. So the Vikings are going to have the ball here in their own end. But anyway, yes, the story I was talking about. Tua had a prop bet that was for 243.5 passing yards. He had 254 with 5 seconds left to go in the game. Of course, though, in the last play, you know how they tried to do that hook and ladder, hitchy woo-woo kind of play to go ahead and rugby style to see if they could go ahead and make a miracle happen. But in doing so, Jalen Waddle took the pass from Tua, which counted as a pass, and ran back for negative 24 yards, which then put Tua's total yards under what the prop bet was. And there are people who lost a significant amount on some parlays that they had. From what I could see, somebody lost $1,275 on that one play. They would have hit on all their other bets, but that one knocked it out. That sucks. That's why they call it gambling, baby. That's why they call it gambling. Oh, looking at the interviews with Saquon, man, how the Giants, like, again, I get it, I understand, but they need to. They got it. The fact that they let him go. Like, the whole situation, like, Joe Shane handled the situation with him, with Daniel Jones, with all that. He handled that in a completely terrible fashion. So. That's what I mean. Joe Shane needs to be fired. Brian Daboll needs to be fired. There's a lot of Giants players. The Giants players, Giants staff, there needs to be, everybody needs to be gone out of there. So here we go. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. The Vikings, Sam Darnold gets his first possession, and that's going to be close to a first down, if not a first down here, for the Vikings on their first play from scrimmage. Josh Oliver, the tight end, with the reception there. 2nd and 1 coming up here, and we have a stoppage in play. As they're saying it is not 2nd and 1, they're saying the expedited review came down and said it was indeed a first down. So that's why they stopped the play. No flags, no anything like that. Expedited review says first down, Vikings. So what was going to be 2nd and 1 instead is 1st and 10. Indianapolis 4-4, Minnesota 5-2, losing their last 2 games. Are the Vikings 2-game losing streak, looking to go ahead and turn that around here on Sunday night. Sam Darnold has a handoff and a big run all the way up to the 48-yard line. Aaron Jones with the carry. And the Vikings have another first down. My name is King. First of all, thank you so much for joining us here on Stay Tuned Sports. 3rd game of the day. Certainly hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the NFL here on the channel. If you're watching along and you're not subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, chat's open. Come on in to the chat. Say hi, say hello, say how you doing. Chat's open for everybody to come in and say hello. 1st and 10. Sam Darnold back to throw. That's going to be completed to Oliver again, this time only for 2 yards. So 2nd and 8 coming up here for the Vikings. $10:40 left here in the first quarter. If you're watching along, Sam Darnold takes a snap, throws to his left. That's going to be caught. And a first down. Powell with the reception. So the Vikings moving the chains, moving the ball. Now in Indianapolis Colts territory. First and 10 from, it appears to be the 42-yard line, maybe the 41.5-yard line. Again, play action by Darnold. Throws into the backfield. That's going to be Addison with the catch. Addison's going to get lucky to get about a yard gain on that play. 2nd and 9 coming up. Zero Solar. What's up? Hey, King. How are we doing? Could be doing better here, Zero Solar. Considering especially I got Brian Daboll still as my coach. Joe Shane still is my general manager. The Giants are 2-7. Brian Daboll can't stop going for 2-point conversions. And MetLife Stadium is a giant piece of shit stadium. Outside of that, doing pretty all right. You know what I'm saying? It's been a day. It's been a fun day of covering football here on Stay Tuned Sports, and it's great to see you. Here we have another handoff. This is to Aaron Jones again. That one's going to be good for about 2 yards. And 3rd and long going to be coming up here for the Minnesota Vikings. How are you doing, Zero Solar? I'm sorry. That is apparently the question we need to ask each other here. How are you doing? How was your football day? How did your team do? How did your betting go? How's your fantasy team? All that stuff. I love knowing all those things and how everybody is doing. Again, if you're watching along, come on in the chat. Chat's open. Chat's fine. Even if you're watching along and haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Helps us out tremendously here on the channel. 3rd and 6 coming up here for the Vikings. Sam Darnold in shotgun. Takes a snap. Throws over to his right. That's going to be caught by Addison. And that's going to be good enough for a first down. As we see, they do have a first down pylon cam here, which apparently I found out this morning thanks to Game Day Morning over on NFL Network. Not every game has the pylon cam for the end zones or the first down pylon cam either, which is why in the games that I've watched before, like the Jets-Texans game on Thursday and last week's game that I watched between the Buccaneers and the Falcons, they didn't have a pylon cam, and I was wondering why. That's why. Because it's apparently up to the networks and not the NFL. That shit needs to change. 1st and 10, handoff to Aaron Jones, and that's going to be good for about 3 yards. Hamster in the chat. Don't you wish you loved baseball like we do football? Getting to see your team play almost every day from March to October. That's what back in the day, baseball was big. I was never a huge baseball fan, even as a kid. I never got into it. It was never great. That's going to be a holding call here. Or is it holding? It was some kind of flag. I think it looks like they did call defensive holding. But that's going to be 5 yards and a first down and the first flag of the game. So, first down here for the Vikings from the 23-yard line, and that's going to be, again, a rush for Jones. He's going to be lucky to get to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up here. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier in the previous streams. As Sam Darnold here on 2nd and 10 is going to throw, and that's going to be good for about 7.5 yards. Looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 3 coming up here for the Vikings, or 3rd and a very long 2. We had talked about it a little bit earlier in one of the streams here where the Giants are, that Daboll first season gave us all false hope. Thought like, man, he knew what he was doing. He had his finger on the pulse. A bit of a risk taker, a bit of a guy who's going to grab the bull by the horns and take the Giants and lead them. And boy, did that turn out to not be the case. So here we go, 3rd and 3. Sam Darnold, he escapes the pressure from the pocket, rolls to his left, throws, intercepted in the end zone. And that's going to be a touchback. So we have traded turnovers. The Colts drove all the way down into Vikings territory and fumbled it. And now Sam Darnold throws a pick into the end zone for a touchback. And the Colts will take over on the 20-yard line. 0-0 here on Sunday Night Football between the Colts and the Vikings after that interception. So yeah, Zero Solar, I got to say, when it comes to Daboll, I think we were all fooled. I can't even talk. We were all fooled by that first season. And then we saw, last season and how bad the offensive line was. And that's a lot on Joe Shane too. Listen, Brian Daboll, I give a lot of shit to because he makes some really dumb decisions and he makes some really bad coaching choices, and all well-deserved criticisms for Brian Daboll. But he also, I mean, Joe Shane has been terrible as a general manager, and I didn't think we could get worse than Dave Gettleman, but I think we have. I think we have when it comes to Joe Shane. The way he handled the Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley situation was horrendous. That could have been handled so many different ways, no matter which way you want to go about it. Whether you said, "Oh, we should have gotten rid of Daniel Jones," but I mean, listen, he had a great season in his contract year. That was again, the Giants didn't pick up his rookie option for the 5th year. So they put themselves in that position again where you could have had the 5th year option, and then if whatever happened, he could have been gone already. He wouldn't have been here this year if you had done that. But he had a hell of a year, dragged the Giants to the playoffs, got the Giants a playoff victory in which he played maybe the best game of his life in that game in Minnesota, on top of how well he played the rest of that season. So then you're forced into a situation where do you franchise? And again, you could go 10 million different ways of whether you should have franchised him and then signed Barkley to the contract, or like you did where you signed a contract and then you franchised Barkley, or this or that. But what happened was such, Shane was so indecisive and we went back and forth and hemmed and hawed and waited so long with everybody that he soured relationships. He soured relationships with Barkley. There was so much bad there that when Saquon got his chance to go and Shane was like, we're going to let you hit the market and see what you can get. It's like, you don't think people were going to pay for Saquon Barkley? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said. So I think the Giants, they need a full enema in that entire building. The Quest Center needs to be flushed out, top to bottom. Like I said, player-wise, keep Dexter Lawrence, keep Malik Neighbors. Get rid of trade deadline's coming. Trade everybody. Get rid of everybody you can. Get as many assets as you can, and rebuild as if you're a expansion team. Joe Flacco on first down passes to Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield. That's going to be a gain of 11 and a first down up to the 31-yard line. Hamster in the chat says, baseball's just so boring, but every year I try my best to get into it, but so I'm not depressed when football ends. Again, I watch hockey. I'm a big hockey guy. Let's go Devils, as you could say. So I have hockey to entertain me. I'm a bit like hockey's probably my favorite sport, even outside of football, and I love football. Don't get me wrong, but I love hockey. So I have hockey there to hold me over. Some other niche sports, I can watch basketball every now and then, not huge, but March Madness with college football, first down and 10, gain of a yard for the Colts and Jonathan Taylor. March Madness comes along, that is able to satisfy me for a couple of weeks there. The 2 or 3 weeks of the tournament, I can live with that, and that's good. But when you get that long summer season when there's nothing but it's just baseball, and it's like, I dig baseball when it starts, spring training, and that first 2 weeks of the season's kind of cool, and then I check out until we get to October. I just can't. It's too much. Second and 9, Joe Flacco takes the snap back, looking to throw, and he does so. Michael Pittman Jr. is the receiver. That's going to be good for about 5 yards. I'm sorry, did I say Pittman Jr.? That's not who that is. No, it's my fault. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm not a professional. I'm not doing that. That's actually Josh Downs. Sorry about that. I saw when I thought it was Pittman Jr. Pittman Jr. is 11, not 1. Dumb. Anyway. 3rd and 4. Joe Flacco takes the snap in shotgun. He looks, throws over the head of Jonathan Taylor, incomplete. And that's going to be 4th down and a punt coming up here from the Colts. So they get the turnover, but are unable to capitalize on said turnover, and will give the ball back to the Minnesota Vikings here in just a moment. And the punt is away. Vikings going to return it up to the 24-yard line. And that's where they will take over on their second possession, hoping not to get another turnover on this one. The Colts were driving on their first drive, had a fumble risky on the exchange between Joe Flacco and Jonathan Taylor. The Vikings then drove all the way down the field, but had themselves a turnover. And now we have a punt here. Hamster in the chat. Hockey is my favorite sport live, but it ain't the same ever since they moved my Thrashers. I pull for Nashville, but just casually check the scores. But I used to watch Atlanta Thrasher games. Yeah, listen, the Thrashers got screwed by the ownership group they had there. What was it, Sky Sports or whatever? I forget the name of the group that they had there that ran the arena and ran the Hawks, and they just could not give less of a shit about the Thrashers. And so the moment that they went to offload, the Thrashers and the Thrashers fans got screwed, and that's the shame of it, is that hockey was working in Atlanta. It could work in Atlanta. They got absolutely they got screwed. They got fucked, which is a shame. And listen, I'm glad that Winnipeg got a team. They got screwed in their team. They should have had a team. They should have never had it go away. I get all that, but it definitely should. It should have stayed in Atlanta. And I know they're trying to go to Atlanta again with another ownership group. I don't know how well that'll ever work out. People in Canada will revolt. And I mean, they're already pissed that they moved to Utah, the Coyotes. So we'll see. ELS, back in the chat. How you doing, my brother? Licking your wounds again, as we all are here from our teams getting their ass kicked. Well, some of us anyway. Zero Solar in the chat says it's insane what the Commanders and Texans have done in a couple of years. So don't lose faith. Maybe the Giants can clean house, aim for Arch Manning. Yeah, Arch Manning. We still got 2 or 3 years before Arch Manning comes out. So I don't see that as something that is imminent. And I would definitely want to make sure we have somebody already set and try to have. I don't want to punt for 3 years, hoping for Arch Manning and then even then miss out on him. You know what I'm saying? So, but the Giants definitely need a clean house. They need an enema. Like I said, this was our 100th year. Celebrate the 100th year, and then next year, clean everybody out and start again like your expansion team. Fresh slate for the next 100 years, and see what happens. ELS letting us know that your subs are going up. 939 right now, 61 away from 1,000. Let's go over, get ELS some of those subs, everybody. Help him out. We got a quick end around here to Addison, and Addison's going to get 10 yards on the carry. That's going to be a first down for Minnesota on the first play from scrimmage on their second drive. ELS Train Tuber 501 is my man's channel, and I know ELS, he's going to put the link in the chat so you can get an easier time to go check that out. But go help ELS gain some more subs and subscribe, especially if you like his train videos. He's got some great train videos. He covers, I guess, high school football season's just about over, but he was doing some games on there as well, which is kind of cool. But mostly train channel, clearly. ELS, Train Tuber, 501. Makes sense. Go check him out. Great channel, great friend, great person. You will not be disappointed if you subscribe to my man's channel. So here we go. 2nd and 1 coming up here for Minnesota. Not a first down, as the expedited review has come down again. As we see Sam Darnold in shotgun, he's going to hand it off here to, it appears to be Jones from what I could tell. And indeed it is, and that is going to be a first down for the Vikings. First and 10 coming up here for the Vikings, as we see Justin Jefferson in a solo shot there. Play action by Darnold. Pocket collapsing, though. Does get the ball away, and it does go to Jefferson as he gets hit from behind. But the pass is completed. First down. They are now in Colts territory. Hamster, I'll say this. The Nashville Predators have built quite a nice fan base down there. When they say that, when the Canadians always bitch about, oh, Southern hockey's not going to work. Southern hockey works. In Dallas, it works. In Nashville, it works. We've seen it. It works in Tampa. Florida's got a cup now. Maybe but Miami's market's always fickle, no matter who it is. Listen, there's the NFL down there, and they can't fill the stadium. So, pitch out here to Jones, and that's going to be good for about a yard. So that's not a case of maybe, hockey not working in Miami. Miami sports is fickle, no matter what it is, whether it's basketball, whether it's hockey, whether it's football, college or pro, like baseball. Like Miami is, it's hard when you got the beach right there and it's beautiful all the time. And it's like, it takes a lot for people to want to go inside a cold arena with ice. I get it. Or anywhere in a stadium. Or in a basketball arena. Like, people are like, screw that, man. I'm going to stay outside. It's nice. So, and the nightlife and everything like that. So, Miami's a little different. So, again, pass out to the backfield for Jones, and that's going to be a massive loss. They are back now in their own territory, are the Vikings, on that play. This is going to be third and very long. There are some crowds like that, and St. Louis has had their team for fucking ever now. But there are some crowds that are weird like that. 3rd and 17 after that blown up play by the Vikings. Sam Darnold in shotgun. He's going to take the snap back, looking to throw. They need to make up some big yardage here, and he throws. That's going to be Oliver, the tight end with the catch. Nope, that's not Oliver. But either way, tight end with the catch. Nowhere near the first down, and the Vikings are going to have to punt. That was Hawkinson. Sorry. Man, I haven't seen Hawkinson in forever. Maybe that's why I didn't think he was there. But there's games like that. Like I'll say this. I used to live up in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And there was the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Penguins, a minor league team. And I know minor league's different than that. But, man, I would go there, and I'm used to going to a hockey game and screaming and yelling, going to a Devils game, like, oh, let's go. See a fight, you stand up, you cheer, and everything like that. Boy, they had the old ladies knitting in the corner. It was so quiet. It was like, let's get some excitement, something going on here. There are just some crowds like that. Punt is away. That's going to be a touchback, and the Colts will get it at the 20-yard line, and that's where we'll come back here after they come back from a commercial break. 15 seconds remaining here. In the first quarter, they're going to wait to go to the commercial break, obviously, because there's only 15 seconds left. So we'll be hitting that. So there'll be one play here. 15 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Indianapolis Colts, 0. Minnesota Vikings, 0. But yeah, so there are some crowds, some places you go where it's just quiet. And I don't get it. It's just maybe just how the people are. Maybe more of a Midwestern thing. I don't know. Like, I haven't been to Columbus. I don't know how their crowd is there. So here we go. Hand off to Jonathan Taylor on first down. That's going to be a gain of 4 yards as he gets to the 24-yard line. And that is going to run the clock down. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. We're at donuts, baby. Colts 0, Vikings 0, 2nd and 6 coming up here when we return with the second quarter. ELS chiming in the chat says one of the best college hockey crowds that I have ever been to was the Michigan Tech Huskies up in Houghton, Michigan. Dude, again, I think college, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, any sport, the crowds at college games are always going to be different. And they're always going to be more lively and fun and loud, and it's a better crowd. It's a better atmosphere. I would love to go to a college hockey game, to tell you the truth. Wait, what's this? Hold on. Oh, I got Jimbo is sending me screenshots here of Twitter and things like that. And Seth Joyner, obviously, a legendary Eagles player. I believe he's even a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure yet, but Seth Joyner tweeted, "It's official. Our head coach, Nick Sirianni, is an idiot." Like I said, they won, but I don't know how you keep Sirianni as a coach. I really don't. I don't. But yeah, no, like with the hockey crowds again, I think it's just some places are weird and quiet. I've heard Pittsburgh is quiet for the most part. Like outside of like playoff games or some of the bigger games, Pittsburgh gets very quiet. It's a quiet crowd. Uh, then you have the other crowds. You have like Philly crowds is always going to be loud. Philly's going to be boisterous. Devils crowds that I've been to there at the Rock. Uh, Depending on the game and if the Devils are playing well, it can get loud, But the last couple seasons where the Devils have been disappointing, it's been a little quiet, But that's I think just because of the product on the ice, but it can get loud. I'll tell you what's not a loud crowd is Madison Square Garden. That's a very business suit and tie crowd there. Very corporate tickets. People go there to impress clients and shit like that. There's not a lot of real fans that go to I've gone to a Devils Rangers game at Madison Square Garden. And here's the thing. Ranger fans always like to say, oh, we take over the Rock. We run the Rock. There's never anybody at Devils games except for Ranger fans when we go there. I went to a Devils Rangers game. It was a good 50-50 split between Devils and Rangers fans there. So don't let Ranger fans try to fool you and be like, oh, we own the Garden and we own Prudential Center and we own all that. Ranger fans don't know shit. Devil fans, there was a good 50-50 game there. And the Devils won that game too, so fuck you, Rangers. Anyway, 2nd and 6 coming up here for the Colts, and that's going to be a gain of 1, maybe 2 yards on the carry. 3rd down as we have started the second quarter. Hamster reminding us, yes, that Philly fans are allowed in all sports. Good, bad, or indifferent. They are indeed loud and nasty and obnoxious people. So here we go. 3rd and 5. Got to get to the 30-yard line. Joe Flacco throws over the middle. Tipped around. Incomplete. And that's going to be 4th down and another punt coming from the Colts. Boy, I don't know. That was only really Vikings there for Flacco. Not sure about that. Zero Solar says, yikes, gotta go. Enjoy the game, everyone. Zero Solar, thank you so much for joining us here. ELS in the chat says, when I used to go to the Green Bay Gamblers games from the old USHL, baby, still there. Go Omaha Lancers, baby. That's my team. The crowds would go crazy at the Resch Center, sorry. When the Gamblers got a goal, you could hear all the, you heard 50-plus fans that they had the bells there, yeah. You got some places like that. Like down in the South, they do that a lot with the football games, like Mississippi State. They have the cowbells and all that kind of stuff and nonsense. They haven't had a lot of chance to ring it this year, but they are there. So the punt was away. Vikings have the ball now at their 25-yard line. And that's going to be a run here on 1st down for 13 yards, and that's going to be good enough, ladies and gentlemen, for a Vikings 1st down. Cam Akers with the carry here for the Vikings. Darnold under center here for 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Akers in the backfield. Addison in motion, going to the left. It's going to be a handoff here to Akers again, and Akers is going to get another 4 or 5 yards on the carry. My name is King, and you're watching Stay Tuned Sports, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Sunday night. If you like what you're watching, please go ahead and hit that like, that share, that subscribe button, especially if you're not subscribed yet. I mean, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, please don't hit the subscribe button because that's going to unsubscribe you, and we don't want you to do that. We want you to stay right here with us. And, of course, the chat is open, so you can come on in, say hi, say hello, say how you doing, how you feeling on this Sunday, Football Sunday night. How'd your team do here? On 2nd and 6, going to be about a loss of half a yard to maybe a yard on the play after it was a pass out of the backfield by Darnold. So 3rd and, I want to say roughly probably about 7 coming up here for Minnesota. Darnold's in the huddle talking over the play. What are they going to run? What are they going to do? He gives them the call. Third and 6 is still the call. They gave him back to the line of scrimmage. Darnold back, looking to throw. Pressure coming. That's going to be caught. But there is a flag, and I think it's going to be holding. If what I saw was what I saw, I think that's going to be holding. And indeed it was holding against the Vikings, 10-yard penalty. It is now 3rd and 16. So it would have been complete for a first down to Hawkinson. But, and right there, that's what I saw live when I was watching it. And you have your hand on the outside, even if you're not grabbing, you had your hand on the outside, on the arm, on the shoulder, and you turned them. They're going to call that holding every single time. ELS reminding you that you should come in and join the chat. Everybody in there is friendly, and they have been. It's been a great time in the chat today for all 3 of these games that we've covered. And we have a little bit of a back and forth throwing here. And it gets back to Jones, who's going to run all the way up to the Colts' 48-yard line. And it is a first down on 3rd and 16. They do a little trickeration. It was, I believe, Addison had it was a pass to Addison from Darnold, but it was a backwards pass. Oh, it was to Jefferson, sorry. And then Jefferson throws it back to Aaron Jones, who almost fumbles it. But then he's able to go ahead, holds on, and gets the yardage and gets the first down. Hell of a play from the Minnesota Vikings, and they maintain possession and get a fresh set of downs. 11-12, 11-10 now here in the second quarter. Clock is ticking. Sam Darnold under center. Play action. Oh, gets sacked, and the ball's out. And the ball's out. There's a flag down. They're gonna call roughing the passer because it was high. So it doesn't matter. It's not a touchdown for the Colts. They're going to say it was a high hit, which is just, I don't know, man. No, they took it off. They picked up the flag. We don't pick it up. By the way, I hope you know that. We don't pick up flags here. You throw the flag, it stays there. Oof. I mean, he did hit him in the face. They usually will call that. But I guess they expeditedly replayed it and said no. So, touchdown stands. And the Colts get the first touchdown, a defensive touchdown after a Sam Darnold fumble, which looked like it was going to be roughing the passer. Instead, it stays like before as a Colts touchdown. And the extra point is up, and it is good. And the Colts, ladies and gentlemen, have themselves a 7-0 lead on the Minnesota Vikings here in the second quarter on a defensive touchdown, on a fumble return from Sam Darnold's. Got punched in the face. ELS hitting us with some of the stats of the game. This comes from my game, from my team, Daniel Jones, today. He was 20 of 26, 174 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, plus 54 rushing yards, and 1 touchdown rushing. But yeah, Daniel Jones is the problem, everybody. Daniel Jones doesn't know what he's doing. As ELS says, go Colts. and in chat here. If anybody doesn't know yet, ELS, who's in the chat with us here, big Packers fan. So, of course, he's going to be rooting against the Minnesota Vikings. As fellow YouTuber Tom Grossi, big Packer fan there. As you know, PatCast likes to say the purple incarnation of Satan, as he likes to call the Minnesota Vikings. So that is where we stand here. By the way, if you are watching us, thank you so very much. If you like what you're watching, please hit that like button. Also, hit the share button. Share us around. People you know, people you don't, people you love, people you hate, family, friends, doesn't matter. Share us around. Get more eyeballs on the channel. Thank you so much for your support and how much you help us. And also, if you're watching along and aren't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out tremendously. Right now, got the goal to hit 200 subscribers. Of course, I think the goal for monetization is 500, but that is a goal that is in the future. We're going to see if we can hit that later on. Right now, the goal is 200. And hopefully, we can hit that relatively soon with your help. So thank you so very much. ELS says he calls the Vikings the purple minion demon. Okay, so there's a lot of demonic phrases apparently when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings and the rivals that they have. Cracking my neck. Sorry. As we see Sam Darnold warming up there on the sidelines as the Vikings are about to get the ball back immediately here on the kickoff after the fumble return for a touchdown by the Colts. So the kick is away, and that's going to be a touchback, and the Vikings will get the ball at the 30-yard line. A lot of people complaining about the flag being picked up against the Vikings, saying if that was Patrick Mahomes, they wouldn't do that. 1st and 10 is going to be a handoff here to Jones. And that's going to be a gain of 3 yards. 2nd down coming up here for the Vikings. I'm your boy King, hanging out with you here on this Sunday night. We've had a long football day here, folks. Started at 1 o'clock with the Giants and Commanders. Continued at 4:25 with the Lions and Packers. And now here we are with you on Sunday night, baby. Hanging out with you with the Colts and the Vikings. I'm so glad to be hanging out with you all day, baby. All day football. That's the way to be. That's life. This is great. We're living it, baby. We are living a life. Sam Darnold here on 2nd and 7. Thrown. That's going to be caught. That one is by Oliver. And that is going to be a 1st down as the Vikings get close to midfield and the giant Viking head. As we see Aiden O'Connell looking to call some plays here. Getting the Vikings ready. What is going to be their next play? We're going to find out soon as it's 1st and 10 as they run to the line. As they set up here at the 46.5-yard line. Addison in motion. Darnold under center. Play action. Looks, throws. It is not Addison. It's Oliver who gets the ball again. And this is going to be good for about 8, almost 9 yards. 2nd and 1. 2nd and long one is going to be coming up here for the Vikings. As we see Joe Flacco on the bench, spend a lot of time there. They're calling it 2nd and 2. Handoff here to Aaron Jones, and I don't think he got to the 1st down. He did not. He's about a half a yard short. So 3rd and about a foot and a half. A foot. Couple inches. Coming up here. Zaire Franklin has the most tackles since 2022 with 433, a stat that NBC just decided to shoot into our eyeballs. It's going to be another run and another. He did not get there on the run. 4th down and 1. Colts defense stiffening up here. Like a porn star with a fluffer. Hamster in the chat saying, why is football the only sport we will watch all day? And why is it the only one that comes on all day? Especially college basketball, except for college basketball on Saturdays. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's something that it's the way it's played. It's played once a week. It's appointment viewing. People set their days for it. People have football parties. People watch football and have parties and make dips and different culinary things and have people over. It's a way for family to come together, friends to come together every week or every couple of weeks. There's people it's an event viewing. And so when you do that and you invite everybody over, it's like, yeah, we're going to watch our team, sure, but we're also going to watch every game that we can. If they broadcast all the other games, if we have Sunday Ticket, if we have Red Zone, whatever, we're watching football all day long. It's what we're doing. So I think that's part of the reason why. And I think that's also a reason why March Madness works the way it does. Is because, again, that is college basketball on all day. Those first 2 weeks of the tournament, those 2 weekends, there's a basketball game on all the time from noon until night. And that's going to be on 4th and 1, a 1st down run for the Vikings as they push past, get a yard. 1st down, Minnesota. Yeah, like those March Madness weekends, the first and second rounds, and then the Sweet 16 and Elite Eights, like you'll sit there all day, and there's nothing better than those first 2 days of March Madness when there's just like 70,000 basketball games going on, and you're trying to keep up with it's great. It's the best thing in the world. I love it. And so football's the same way. Sam Darnold here on 1st and 10. Pocket collapses, and he's going to be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 10 coming up here for the Vikings. Since it was a run of no gain, it technically isn't a sack for Stewart, who was the man on the tackle of Darnold. So here we go, 2nd and 10. From the Colts, 42.5-yard line. Sam Darnold back, looks, throws over the middle, caught. Cam Akers out of the backfield with the reception. It's going to be 3rd and a couple here. 3rd and 3 is the official mark here. Darnold back to throw. Gets the pass off. Through the hands. Incomplete. 4th and 3 for the Vikings. Jefferson was the intended receiver. Vikings is going to go for a field goal here to try to get on the board. Snap, hold, kick up. Ooh, no good! Wide right. It looked like it might have hit a hand on the way out, but it stayed pretty straight and true, but it went wide, and so no field goal. The Vikings remain scoreless, and the Colts maintain their 7-0 lead over Minnesota. ELS in the chat letting us know that when March Madness comes on, my schedule is just watch as many games as I can. That's the same thing. I'll give me on the couch, give me a couple of snacks, give me a couple of beverages, whether they be alcoholic or not. You don't want to start out too early in the day. But man, you sit on there. If you have access to some of the games, if not, you got some illegal streams you can do. You sit there and you just watch as much college basketball as you can. It's the best. It's the greatest thing in the world. I love it. I love sports. I just love sports. So. I'm sorry. Checking Twitter here, X Twitter, Twitter X, whatever it is. Um, Barstool Sports here posted a thing and just said, waiting all day for Sunday night. And we have Colts fumble, Vikings interception, Colts punt, Vikings punt, Colts punt, Vikings fumble touchdown, Minnesota missed field goal. It's just, oh boy, it's been a ride here on Sunday night so far. It's been a ride. Not the best game that's happened so far. Maybe the way the game turned out, maybe it would have been better to leave the Eagles and Jaguars here on Sunday night. Just maybe. Lamar Jackson is the first NFL player in history with 4 games in which he has a perfect passer rating. But the passer ratings have only been around for, 10 years, 15 years when it comes to what ESPN's done with them. So, I mean, that's, unless you want to go back in time and calculate every passer in history, I don't know. All right. I'll take you up on Hampshire. Let's take a look at the Falcons' schedule here. Washington versus Penn State. Penn State only dropped down to 6? They're lucky. First and 10 for the Colts. After the missed field goal, I forgot to move the possession arrow again, but that's okay. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 coming up here for the Colts. So the Falcons have the Saints next. That should be a win. Then you play the Broncos in Denver. I'm not giving up on Denver yet. I don't think Denver, again, they're going to be at home. Denver's defense is still very good. Denver might be favored by the home 3. They might be favored by that. I'm not saying the Falcons can't win that game, clearly, but I think the Broncos might be favored in that game. We'll see when we get to that point. Flacco, that's going to be thrown in a pass. First down. Josh Downs with the first downs for the Colts. Then you have the Chargers in Atlanta. I mean, you might be home favorite for that, depending on how well the Chargers did play well in Cleveland today. But again, it is Cleveland, so take that as you will. Handoff here to Jonathan Taylor on first down. He gets that ball to the Vikings' 44-yard line, maybe a little bit past that. It'll be 2nd and 9 coming up here. So again, I think that depends on how the Falcons do in those 2 games. I mean, they should beat the Saints, even in New Orleans. The Broncos game, I think, is a lot tougher than you might think, Hamster. I really do think. Again, the Chargers game, I think, will be tough. You're at home. You might be favored. Again, like I said, I think we'll have to see how the Chargers are doing. Then you play the Vikings. If the Vikings continue to play the way they are, you might be a road favorite. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Flacco throws over the middle. That's going to be caught. Alec Pierce with the reception for the Colts. And it's another first down as they are moving the ball. Joe Flacco seems to be getting into a bit of a groove. Then you play the Raiders in Vegas. That should be a win. Then you play the Giants at home. That should be a win. Then you play Washington. Again, we'll see how the rest of the season goes, but Washington will probably be favored there. And then you have the Panthers at home. So again, you have some easy games, but not all of them. Hamster, I think the Falcons are good, but I think they still have a lot to prove in not being inconsistent. We have a flag down. Pass is completed, but there is indeed a flag. Let's see what this is. Illegal shift, as they've called on the Colts. Is it a real illegal shift or is it a bullshit one like they called on the Giants? Let's say worst case scenario. Let's say the Falcons. Worst case scenario. I mean, you should beat the Saints. You could lose to the Broncos. I'm not saying you will, but you could. You could lose to the Chargers. I'm not saying you will, but you could. You could lose to the Vikings. Again, not saying you would, but you definitely could. You're not going to lose to the Raiders. You're not going to lose to the Giants. You could lose to the Commanders. So, of games that you could lose, you still could lose 1, 2, 3, 4 games and win 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have a chance to still. I mean, you at worst, I think the Falcons go 4-4 for the rest of the season. At worst, I think if the worst case scenario when it comes to the Falcons, you go 4-4 the rest of the season. I don't think you will. I think you'll win more than that, but that's a worst case scenario. But even that, right now, you still probably win the South. So 2nd and 19 after the penalty. That's going to be incomplete. 3rd and 19 now coming up for the Colts. After they seem to be rolling a little bit, the penalty has knocked a little wind out of their sails as it is now 3rd and extremely long. News here from Pro Football Talk. Dr. Mike Florio, that jerk off. But Titans center Lloyd Cushenberry is believed to have season-ending Achilles injury. That's terrible. And on 3rd and 19, it's going to be barely a yard for Jonathan Taylor, and that's going to be a punt coming up here for the Colts. And no, Hamster, well, 1,000%. Like, here's the thing: you got a team now, you got a quarterback that is very good. You have a team that is good when they want to be. They have to learn consistency. If the Falcons find consistency, the sky's the limit for the Falcons. They have talent out the ass. If they can learn to be consistent and string together good game after good game after good game and not have good game, bad game, good game, bad game, good game, bad game, which they've kind of had, if they can be consistent, the sky's the limit for them. Absolutely. And that's the thing, Hampton. You got to stop that. When it comes to the Falcons, Hampton in the chat saying that the Falcons play up to or down to the level of their opponent. Good teams don't do that. Good teams aren't that inconsistent. Good teams are good, no matter who they play. And listen, this is a problem that I see with the Ravens. Again, the Ravens, they played the Broncos today, and I think the Broncos are a better team than the Browns. And they whooped up on the Broncos and that Broncos defense that people were talking about how good it was. They put 41 points up on them. But you just look at what they did last week, and they shit the bed against the Browns. This is a team that lost to the Raiders at home earlier in the year. Meanwhile, they crushed Buffalo. Like, the Ravens, I think, suffer from the same problem that the Falcons do of being inconsistent. And I think that's why people, as much as you want to lionize Lamar Jackson and kind of pump him up and talk about how, the Ravens, they're so good. Look at the numbers they put up. Yeah, they put up those numbers in those big games they have. But then they also have the shit games that happen. And that's what I mean. They're very inconsistent. And that's why they're, what are they, 5-3, 6-3 right now? Like, they're not, they should for the talent they have on that team, they should have maybe one loss. They shouldn't have any losses, if we're going to be honest. But meanwhile, they have 3. And meanwhile, you look at the Chiefs, who haven't played the best football at all. Clearly, for anybody who's watched them, and we're going to watch them again here tomorrow night against the Buccaneers, they still find a way to win games. Yeah, and they got no. Listen, they handled Dallas today very well. So I'll say that the score is a lot closer than what the The game wasn't as close as the final score indicated, as the final score was 27-21. But again, with Dallas, that was a late score, and then they tried to get into a onside kick and didn't get it, and all that kind of stuff. So again, the Falcons kind of owned that game. But again, it's a consistency issue. Here's going to be a field goal attempt for the Colts, and they're going to miss it. Wide left. Oh my God. This is the game we swapped out. We couldn't find any other game to swap. Nobody wants to win this fucking game. Nobody wants to play this game. This is becoming hard to watch. But if you're watching along with us, thank you so very much. Thrown over the middle. It's going to be caught by Justin Jefferson at the 40 after the Colts missed the field goal. Both teams now have exchanged turnovers and exchanged missed field goals. The Vikings also have an extra turnover that was returned for a touchdown on a play that looked like Sam Darnold got punched in the face, but they threw a flag and then picked the flag up. And I don't like extraneous flags, but with the way they've called flags over the last couple of years, that looks like it should have been a flag. Sam Darnold throws the ball just into the ground as he was getting pressured. 2nd and 10 coming up here. Hamster says, this game sucks. I haven't been paying attention. Was watching my Atlanta Hawks and listening to me. Oh, thank you so much for listening to me and having me as background noise, Hamster. That makes me feel good. It does. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I know some people might take it that way. No. I enjoy being background noise. If I'm somebody's background noise, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. It means my soft, dulcet tones are doing their job. So here we go. 2nd and 10 coming up here for Minnesota. Sam Darnold steps back to throw, goes over the middle. That's going to be caught, as this is going to quickly turn into the Justin Jefferson show, as Minnesota says, we are done fucking around. As they are now in the red zone. And they are looking to score here. Tie this game up. Man, I feel like my neck's got a crack, and it just won't crack. Indianapolis is taking a timeout. 1:13 remaining here in the second quarter. I had missed where Minnesota took a timeout. But then again, I do kind of miss that shit. I gotta keep a better eye out. That's the worry. That's the worry, is whether or not the Vikings are going to have a collapse here or not. And I know that's something that Vikings fans are worried about, especially, what was that one year they started 6-0 and what was it? Then went 2-8 the rest of the season and missed the playoffs. So, yeah. That's the worry when it comes to Minnesota. They don't want to fall down that trap again. Starting out 5-0, now you've lost your last 2 games. And to be fair, if having watched some of the other games they had, they very easily could have lost their last 4, as they collapsed in the second half against the Packers and only won by 2 after being up 28-0. And then they collapsed in the second half against the Jets. And the only reason they won that game against the Jets in London was because the Jets were an absolute mess and inept. So, at this point, I think the Vikings are, looking back on it, they're lucky to be 5-2. But if they can still turn it around and do it. Now, this game, they have not played well. Nobody's played well in this game. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Sam Darnold on 2nd and 8, and he's going to take a sack back at the 21-yard line. Whew. Forrest Buckner with the sack. Third down and a very long way coming up here for the Minnesota Vikings. Remember when the Titans started? Dude, I remember a couple years ago when the Cardinals started 11-0, and then I believe they missed the playoffs. I think they started 11-0 and missed the playoffs by a technicality. I think it was before they added the third wild card team or fourth wild card. Before they added the seventh team. And so they lost that, but everybody apparently was good that year. So they ended up they started out 11-0 and then lost all their games. I might have to look that up here in a second. So here we go. 3rd and 20. Sam Darnold throws over the middle to Justin Jefferson. It's going to get down to the 14-yard line, but nowhere near a first down or nowhere near the end zone. So 4th down. Will the Vikings go for another field goal, or are they going to go for it and say, "Fuck it, we're going to go for a touchdown"? Let's see. Joe Flacco on the sidelines looking stoic. 4th and 12 coming up here. Minnesota is indeed going to go for it. Indianapolis, again, I've been missing time. I've been talking about everything else. I've been missing the timeouts called. But Minnesota's going to call a timeout. Indianapolis is out of timeouts. So the Vikings say, screw it. They're going to go for the field goal. And it's missed from 31 yards. There's been 3 missed field goals. How do you miss a field goal from 31 yards? And yeah, he dunked it off the upright, but that wasn't what? Wow. Wow. Yes, I do remember that. That's Super Bowl 34. That was a hell of a Super Bowl against the Rams, losing by the 1 yard stretch there. Tennessee's had some moments though, man. Music City Miracle still big. I remember watching that live. That was a hell of a game. But yeah, it was 2021. The Cardinals started 11-0, and then lost their last 6. Finished second in the they were 11-0. They were going to be they were the number 1 team in the NFC. Then they didn't even win the division, and they lost the wild card round against the Rams, 34-11. You want to talk about that? To me, that's one of the all-time collapses. Is that Cardinals collapse in 2021 was such a collapse. So Crazy Southpaw in the chat asking how the Colts got their TD. It was a fumble by Sam Darnold on a sack in which he kind of got punched in the face, and the refs threw a flag, and then picked up the flag and said the touchdown was good. In every instance of me ever seeing that in my life, that flag was thrown, and even on stuff that even wasn't nearly as bad as that were flags thrown and called roughing the passer and personal fouls. That one looked like it was going to be called personal foul, and in this case would have been rightfully so called roughing the passer. But they picked up the flag, said touchdown was good, and that's how we've got 7-0 here. But it's been a crazy day. People are screaming conspiracy, conspiracy. They want the Colts to win the game. Do you think the NFL is going to have a massive conspiracy to have a team from the middle of goddamn Indiana win something? No. It's just been what we've seen all year from every team in every game we've watched together. Bad officiating. Same thing today with the Giants, where they called a pick play on no pick. Colts are just going to kneel on the ball, and that's going to be the end of the first half as we have the Colts 7, Vikings 0, and they were trying to outdo each other for how bad they could have a game. The Jets and Texans, I thought, had this one for the week, but I think the Colts and Vikings have certainly outdone what the Jets and Texans did on Thursday, because this has been a very hard watch. This has been very hard to watch. Yes, Crafty. I think you can go ahead and say that second game in a row that Sam Darnold got screwed by a blow to the face, in which, again, they missed a face mask in L.A., and they missed a punch to the face here. They're saying it's a conspiracy to have the Colts win over the Vikings, or either it's a conspiracy to have the Colts win or a conspiracy to have the Vikings lose. Either way, you know how it goes. Again, there's a conspiracy for the Chiefs. There's a conspiracy for the Colts. There's a conspiracy for the Cowboys. Although, boy, I wish the Cowboys really wish they had a conspiracy right now. Cowboys could really use a conspiracy right now. This is right here. I found a stat here. This is right up ELS's alley. So I don't know. ELS might still be in the chat. He might not be. I have no idea. By the way, if you're watching along with us here on Stay Tuned Sports, please come into the chat. Chat's open. Come in and say hi, say hello, say how you doing. The Carolina Panthers are the first team in the Super Bowl era. So we're talking about 1966 season. The Panthers are the first team in the Super Bowl era to win a game with under 250 total yards, no takeaways, and over 425 total yards allowed. And yet they still won and beat the Saints. Again, I'm sorry, Pecan. I'm sorry to my Saint fans out there. That's not a stat you want. That's not a stat you want to have against you. I believe in some of those, though. They weren't going to let New Orleans lose the game back from Katrina. Yeah, but listen, they had that when you had that Steve Gleason blocked punt and the return for touchdown, that place was electric. Once that happened, once that place became unglued, listen, I don't know if there was a conspiracy to make sure the Saints won, but I think there was definitely a thought among the officials of like there was going to be a little home cooking when it came to that. Like, something that might be a penalty against the Falcons here. It's not really going to be a penalty tonight, Or something that might not really be a penalty against the Saints. You might throw the flag on that one, Not a full-on conspiracy, but definitely a little more nudging in that favor. I don't think that was something that was done from up top. I think that was probably something that the officials saw in that game when just like, once that play happened, the way it happened, it was like, yeah, that's... No, or when the Jets beat the Bills last year after Aaron Rodgers went down. No, that's... Again, you're not talking about... That's not like the week after. That's not like anything like that of something that happened. That's the 20-something year anniversary after 9/11. And that was just the Bills playing poorly. And the Bills played poorly a lot last year. Let's not get that twisted. The Bills ended up winning the division, but they did not play well last year, if you remember. And that game was, again, one of the games they let go. The Eagles game is another one where they should have won and didn't. The Bills had a lot of games like that last year that should have won, could have won, but didn't win. So I don't count that as a conspiracy either. Where people started talking about the conspiracy was the Chiefs-Jets game, where you had the holding calls and then the holding non-calls against the Chiefs, but the holding calls against the Jets and pass interference against the Jets that weren't, and like the whole, like it was, that one is when people were like, I don't know, are they doing it? Are they making sure the Chiefs win? Because that was one of Taylor's first games that she went to, and it's like, I think it was her second game she went to was the Jet game on Sunday night, and it was like, are they making sure they win because the cute ass is there, or what are they doing? So. I don't think that's what I think. It was just poor officiating. Never attribute to conspiracy what can be explained through stupidity, and that's how I look at NFL officiating. Is I don't think it's some grand, large conspiracy of like something from the top, and you're like, oh, we're gonna throw flags here and not here and do all this. I think it's just people are dumb, and they have this job despite their dumbness, and it comes through every goddamn week. And this is one thing, every time there's a good team, every time there's a team on top, that's the team that's going to be told, well, it's rigged. Oh, clearly they're doing it for them. It's like, why did they stop rigging it for the Patriots and start rigging it for the Chiefs? Like, what happened? What was the difference? What's the catalyst? Like, just you have fallen out of favor with the gods. Like, it's who makes that decision? Who makes that? I mean, Goodell talks to the owners. He doesn't, like, the officials are their own fucking union. They do their own goddamn shit. Like, Goodell could tell the officials to do anything, and the officials tell him to go screw. He's telling them he wants more of the eye in the sky stuff, and the refs and their unions are going, yeah, go fuck yourself. That's going to cause another, there's going to be another ref thing. Listen, we're going to go to robot refs soon. That's going to happen, but I've seen that too. And again, you don't know if was he trying to make the call in his head? Was he late on the flag get caught, and then he did it? Like, you don't know any of those things. Or is he just an idiot? And he's just sitting there, and it took him a while, like, checking. Actually, that is holding. You don't know. And again, like I said, I will attribute a lot of these bad calls more than anything to stupidity rather than some grand conspiracy. And you can look at things and you can point to things and make assumptions. And that's where all conspiracies start, is in the leap of logic. And you have to make a leap, because we don't know what happens in the in-ear communications. We don't know that. Like, unlike the UFL or XFL, they have that shit. We hear everything that goes on with the officials. We know what's being said from up in the booth down to the officials, referee. We hear it all. The NFL, you don't hear that. So we don't know what's being said. We don't know any of that stuff. We're making leaps of logic of being like, oh, they're telling them in the ear to throw the flag, or they're telling them in the ear to pick up the flag, or they're saying this, that, and the other. Like, we don't know. But in order to get the conspiracy to where it needs to be, you often have to have that leap. The flat earthers and shit like that. It's like, well, in order for the earth to be flat, that means the sun's got to be only about 50 miles away and it's a light bulb. You have to make that leap in logic in order to believe and start believing that the earth is flat. Like, that's the starting point. And that's with any conspiracy. There's always going to be that leap of logic. And it's the same thing with NFL officiating. You have to be like, well, look, we don't know why the referee acted this way. We don't know why exactly they either picked up or didn't pick up a flag, or why they threw or didn't throw a flag. But my leap is that there was a payment made, or there's a large gambling bet, or Roger Goodell called down from the box, or something like that. There's always that large leap of logic, or they want to make sure that this team is in this spot to win the game for this, like this, that, and the other. Taylor Swift is in attendance. They want to make sure she goes home happy, or whatever it is. There's that leap in logic that you have to make the conspiracy theory fit. And I will always sit more to, it's just guys being fucking stupid and not knowing the fucking job and not knowing the rules at the time. Well, here's the thing. All he did was he said the quiet part out loud. As Sutton, as we know in hockey, all the time there's always makeup calls. And that I think that does happen in all sports. I'm not going to lie. That happens in a lot of sports. Hockey probably more than anything. If there's an iffy call that one ref makes, and they'll say, all right, we'll do a makeup call. And they will. And you've kind of seen that throughout history. Me watching hockey as long as I have, I've watched games and been like, oh, it's a terrible call. And then you'll see, like 30 seconds later, they'll call on the other team. And you're like, oh, that's a makeup call. That's 1,000% a makeup call. All that we heard from that official, I forget his name, but all we heard from that official was what we all assumed anyway, and actually just got confirmed is, yeah, they do the makeup calls. They do makeup calls. And we knew it. That's not so much a conspiracy as just kind of, that's more of the unwritten rules, which baseball has a fucking ton of, but I never understood that. But yeah, I think that's not a conspiracy, that's an unwritten rule when it comes to hockey. There's, that and the retaliator is always going to get the penalty and not the instigator. That always, I mean, that's the same in any sport. But I do remember that, and that was my thought. It was like, yeah, you can't have the mic on when you say that. You can't have the mic on when you say that. But like I said, the hockey fans and hockey people have known forever about the makeup calls. What is this? Why are you yelling at me, computer? No, I don't want to do that. Come here. This is actually pretty funny. This meme kind of epitomizes this game so far. Ellis in the chat says, do you think Travis Kelce and Bucky Irving get 65.8 points in fantasy? If they do, I will lose this week. The Buccaneers are going to lean heavy on Bucky Irving. If he gets a lot of points, it's going to depend on against that Kansas City defense. I don't know. Kelce is another I don't know. If they target him, if he becomes the target like he was a couple weeks ago, what game were we watching? What Chiefs game was that? Was that the Saints? I think it was the Saints game. They targeted the shit out of Travis Kelce in that game. If they target Kelce like they targeted him in that Saints game, there's a chance, especially if he gets a couple touchdowns on him and picks up a lot of yardage. I mean, he can pick up a lot. Will he pick up 65? Again, I don't know exactly how your point system works there, but it could. It could. And then if Bucky's able to go ahead and rip some off, maybe. I would say right now you're probably safe, but, listen, chances are never zero. Chances are never zero, ELS. Tom Grossi on Twitter. Well, at least we have the Vikings down for the watch, which I'm sure ELS shares his sentiments 1,000% here. So here we go as we're getting ready for quarter number 3. Maybe the second half will be better. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Bucky Irving's projected to get 16.7 points, and Kelce's projected to get 4. The fact that they have Bucky projected to get more than Travis, I don't know. And I never trusted projected points ever. Never trusted projected points. I've yet to find a fantasy football league that does the projected points that has them anywhere ever near close to what the fuck they are. Yeah, hamster. Like I said, when me and Jimbo were talking about and we did the Friday forecast, and we were talking over the games and doing stuff like that. It's like week 9. Oh, here's the week 9 predictions. Here's week 9. It's like, man, we're week 9. This is it. We're the halfway point, baby. So here comes the second half kickoff. That's going to be a dynamic touchback. But yeah, man, enjoy it. Embrace it while you can. That's why I did the 3 games today. I'm going forward, I might do this more. Like I said, I know the Giants have the 9 o'clock game next week, so I don't know if I'm going to. I might do 3. But it'll be obviously a little bit staggered. I don't know if I can do 4 yet. I know Tom did 4 a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I can do 4 yet. We'll see. But I will be there watching 2 terrible teams play in the Deutschland for your amusement and watching me be absolutely fucking miserable. So here we go. 1st and 10 from the 30. Sam Darnold back looking to throw. You know who he's looking for. And he found him. Up near the 48 and then out at the 50. Justin Jefferson broke out of the tackle. Gets to midfield. 1st and 10 for the Vikings. 20-yard gain on 1st down. They give him to the Indianapolis 49, actually. So 21-yard gain. Handoff here to Aaron Jones, and he's going to get 4 yards. 2nd and 6 coming up here. ELS telling me, what do we got here? Oh, that's the scoring for your fantasy league. Okay, rushing yards, 0.3. TD rushing. Boy, I got to tell you, I don't know. Seeing... Oof. You might be safe. I think you'll be safe. Sam Darnold, again, here on 2nd and 6, back to throw. That's going to be caught. Hawkinson with the catch as the Vikings go deeper into Colts territory. And it'll be 1st and 10. This is going to be down around the 28, 27-yard line. Actually, it's the 26, so I should shut the fuck up. Whoa! Somebody got a little over anxious, and that might be encroachment. Indeed, it is encroachment on the Colts. Stewart, with the encroaching of the encroachment, put his crotch too far into the crotching. Puts the flag total up to 5 for the game. Even the flags have been lacking in this game. Not only is the offense bad and the field goal kicking bad and everything bad, even the refs are like, fuck it. So here we go. 1st and 5. It's going to be a handoff here to Jones, and Jones is going to get about 4 yards on the carry. 2nd and 1 coming up here. Coming into this week, ELS's team is 11th in the playoff seeding. Maybe they'll do better. Here we go. A little bit of a sneak on 2nd and 1, and that's going to be a 1st down for the Vikings. As the Vikings still looking to get their first points of the game. As we see Cam Robinson, who was just traded for by the Vikings from the Jaguars this week, and is indeed playing and starting here with the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold in shotgun, 1st and 10. Throws a screen out to Jefferson, and Jefferson's going to fall forward for a yard, and that is it. 2nd down and 9 coming up here. ELS giving us a little bit of an NHL update here. The Chicago Blackhawks currently leading the Ducks 3-0 in the 2nd intermission. Speaking of inconsistent teams, man, the Devils, I got to tell you, they got to the goaltending needs to tighten down. Again, we'll have a game that's 6-0, and then we lose 3-0 to Calgary. Bullshit. 2nd and 9. Darnold in shotgun takes the snap back, looks, throws over to his right, thrown, incomplete. Munt was the intended receiver, but just out of his reach. 3rd and 9 coming up here for the Vikings. If I'm the Vikings, I go for it. I don't trust my field goal kicker at this point. Oh, God, tough catch, but you got to come down with it. Oh, you got to come down with that, Munt. What a Munt. 11:09 remaining here in the third quarter as we've just started the second half. This is the first drive as the Vikings are trying to get their first points of the game. Sam Darnold in shotgun. Takes the snap, trips left. Looks, has time, throws. That's going to be caught by Addison at the 3-yard line. Good enough for a first down. It is 1st and goal, Minnesota, as they are tantalizingly close to tying this game up. That'll be at the 4, not the 3, actually. So 1st and goal from the 4. Darnold in shotgun. Play action, getting chased. Throws to the end zone. Did Addison catch that? Yes, he did. And that, my friends, the long national nightmare is over. The Minnesota Vikings have scored a touchdown. And they are an extra point away from tying this game. Man, imagine if they had hit their field goals they missed. They'd be leading. Do you trust your field goal kicker to make the extra point? I don't know. I don't know if I do. We're in for some drama here. Extra point coming up. Snap, hold, kick, up. Oh, and it's good. And it appears there's going to be a little Bronx cheer coming there from the Minnesota crowd. But they get it. And we have a tie game, ladies and gentlemen, 7-7. Minnesota and the Colts tied up here on Sunday Night Football. Hamster saying, I don't know. I think it's good. Like, I thought it was good at 2. I mean, I grew up with the 2 games, Lions and Cowboys, Lions and Cowboys, Lions and Cowboys. I like the addition of the 3rd primetime game. It feels more full. It feels like a full NFL schedule day. Then, you have your early afternoon game, which is always the Lions. You have your afternoon game, which is the Cowboys. And then you have your evening game, night game, which is always now a random set of teams, which is cool. I like that setup. I don't want any more, because then if you have 2 more games, then you have other games against each other, and it doesn't work. The tradition is Lions, Cowboys. I like that. Keep the tradition for that. And I think it's perfect. I think the 3 games is perfect. So good. Because that's it. When the Lions game on, you're still making turkey, you're still making the Thanksgiving dinner, you're putting everything together, still cooking, still baking, still all these things. Then you have the Cowboys game coming on. That's usually when you're sitting down to eat for dinner. You sit down, you have dinner while watching the Cowboys game. Whoever they're playing this year is going to be the Giants. Yeah, maybe the Giants got a chance this year. And then you're done, and then you have the night game where you go, and that's where you get the leftovers. You start making the turkey sandwiches on the rye. You put the stuffing in the gravy and some cranberry sauce or whatever else you want to put on there. And you have the snacks of the turkey leftovers and all the Thanksgiving leftovers as you watch the evening game. Like, it's such a perfect setup for Thanksgiving. ELS, again, I did see this stat before today. Vanderbilt defeating both Alabama and Auburn for the same time in the same season since 1955. Bit of a stretch there for Vanderbilt. A season they're not going to forget anytime soon. Night game is for the Packers this yeet. Give me a yeet. I know you meant year, but it's fun to say yeet. Especially if you're a WWE fan. Yeet, yeet. Yeah, who are the Packers playing for Thanksgiving this year? So here comes the dynamic kickoff, and that's going to be a dynamic touchback again, and the Colts are going to get the ball at the 30-yard line. Now, see, here's the thing, too, Hamster. You're good. The thing the NFL did is instead of putting another game then on Thanksgiving, you get the Black Friday game now. So that's something. First down for the Colts in there. Going to get a first down on that run, about a 12-yard run for the Indianapolis Colts on a bit of an end around there. Ashton Doolin with the first down run out of the backfield, as now he sets up wide again. Oh, Packers-Dolphins. Joe Flacco, all day to fucking throw back there. Jesus Christ. And does get it off and completes it to Alec Pierce, and that's going to be another first down. Jesus Christ. Joe Flacco could have cooked a Thanksgiving meal back there. He had enough time. He probably could have done it until Thanksgiving. My God. It was just a three-man rush from the Vikings. Nothing going there, but he's able to go ahead and complete the pass. And get a first down. Oh, they're going to call 2nd and 1? No, that can't be. Expedited review's got to make it a first down. And it does. They've moved the ball. It is a first down. 1st and 10. I was going to say, Jesus Christ. And Chiefs and Raiders for the Black Friday NFL game. That was the Christmas game last year. We'll see if the Raiders can kind of pull off the same upset they did last year in Kansas City, as Kansas City kind of owns Vegas, but they've already played in Vegas, so we know that's going to be happening at Arrowhead. I like that the NFL just got tired of the NBA owning Christmas and said, fuck it, we own it now. Joe Flacco throws down the field. It's going to be out of bounds there on 1st and 10, 2nd and 10 coming up. The NFL was just like, you know what, NBA? You're right. Oh, we got a flag. It's going to be holding against the Colts. Oh, boy. And that's going to move them back 10 yards, and that's going to be flag number 6 on the game. NFL was like, you know what? This is cute. You guys do the Christmas Day thing. That's nice. That's cute. Guess what? We own Christmas now. Why? Because we fucking decided. Black Friday, I always figured was more of a college football day, but listen, the NFL, if the NFL wants it, the NFL gets it. You're not going to stop nobody's going to stop the NFL juggernaut. So 1st and 20, Flacco's arm hit as he throws, and that's going to bounce onto the ground, incomplete. 2nd and 20. After the penalty, it was 1st and 20. Now it's 2nd and 20 coming up here for the Colts. Yeah, college football is all the time there. And as ELS brings up, the NFL Christmas games are going to be on Netflix. But, I don't have a problem with that because, again, most people have a Netflix. And I know the complaint is like, I got to get a whole new streaming service. If there's a streaming service that a majority of people have, it's Netflix. And again, I think the same rules will apply for that as they do for all the other games that are on cable or things like that. 2nd and 20, thrown down the field. That's going to be caught. And makes it a much more manageable 3rd down here for the Colts coming up here. Michael Pittman Jr. with the reception. Whereas this with, if you have a cable game or something like that, or if it's on Amazon, for the local market, it'll be on in the local market for the team so that people in the area can watch the game. But like I said, most people have Netflix or know somebody with Netflix or share a password, even though Netflix cracked down on it. There's still ways around it that you can do that. Like the Netflix thing doesn't bother me. What bothered me was the Peacock shit. So here we go. 3rd and 6. Joe Flacco getting pressured. Tip incomplete. Almost picked twice there by the Vikings. But 4th and 6 coming up. That holding penalty really, really hurt the Colts. And they're going to be in a position to punt here. Because with the Peacock thing, it was like not everybody had Peacock. Half the people didn't even know what the fuck Peacock was. And you had to sign up for it then and then do that. And they, granted, they've had like, I think a 75% retention rate, but I think that's just people forgetting to cancel the subscriptions. But still, most people have or know somebody that has Netflix. So putting it on Netflix, I think, is a much better decision, than doing that with Peacock. And ESPN did that recently too on one of the 2 Monday night games with what was it? I think it was the Chargers and Cardinals. They put exclusively on ESPN Plus. So I think there was a delay game penalty there on the Colts that moved them back 5 more yards as they get ready to punt this ball away. Yes, there was the playoff game with the Chiefs and the Dolphins, and like I said, I was lucky enough that me and my wife we have Peacock, so we were able to watch it, and we were able to use our account at my parents' house. Oh, the ball does land at like the 1 yard line, but bounces into the end zone. Touchback for the Vikings, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line. So we were lucky that we kind of already had it because we use it to watch wrestling and WWE pay-per-views and things like that. So we already had it, and that was good. But that felt slimy. The Netflix thing doesn't feel slimy to me. It feels more like that's just a regular business opportunity. Netflix is already pretty widespread. You want to bring it and to a different streaming market and see how that works and see what you can do with that. That makes sense. But the exclusive thing on Peacock they did, and the exclusive shit they did with ESPN Plus a couple weeks ago with the second Monday night game was like that to me feels more slimy than anything of having Amazon Black Friday games or Netflix Christmas Day games. That doesn't feel slimy to me. That just feels like they're expanding to a different and a new market that's already fairly large and fairly big. There's 200, 300 million Netflix subscribers or something like that, or probably even more than that. I'm just making up a number in my head, but I know there's a lot. So you're talking about like that much. Like there's you have access, or somebody that has access, or you can find access, or you can illegally stream, like a lot of people do anyway. Like that. I mean, that's those sites are always going to be there and available so long as you have good virus protection. ELS in the chat says, honestly, I think NFL Christmas game should be on Nickelodeon, or they should do the simulcast anyway. The Nickelodeon Slime Time thing for the kids. I think those things are great when they do those. And I know some people were giving it shit, but it's like, it's not for you. You're not the audience. You can watch the regular broadcast. This is meant for the kids. This is meant for, having SpongeBob be the net and having the slime shoot for a touchdown and all the other shit. It's goofy, it's fun, but it gets like the little kids between like 3, 5, 6, 8 years old to pay attention, to get to the game and introduce them to the game. There's nothing wrong with having more people in the game, which was my whole thing with people getting so pissed about Taylor Swift being at the games. Like, oh my God, this is Taylor. Stop showing her. Do you know how much more of an audience the NFL exposed to the game because of Taylor Swift? How a complete different demographic. Young girls, young teenage girls, young 20-something girls got exposed to NFL football for the first time, and some of them have stuck around and liked it. That's a positive. That's a good thing. And so I never got that hate either for the whole Taylor thing. 1st and 10 for the Vikings, and that's going to be a first down. Oliver with the reception. I think it was Oliver. It may not be. I'm always getting the numbers mixed up here. I know it's not Hawkinson. Oh, it was Oliver. Yeah, I was right. Look at that. That's a rarity. That's a rarity. Hampstead in the chat says, I miss regular old TV. Yeah, there are times I do. But we still have plenty of games on there as well. So, like, it hasn't gone away. It hasn't. Like, if you still want to enjoy, your one game at 1 o'clock and one game at 4 o'clock and then your Sunday night game, you can still do that. That's still there and it's still available to you. As that was an incomplete pass from Sam Darnold, but we have a flag down. It's going to be holding on the Colts. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty, but an automatic first down, and our flags are up to 8. You already have to have Amazon. Listen, the Amazon Prime deal was made for that reason. Amazon, they wanted to, boost the Prime viewership, and that's a big get. And the NFL got what, $10 billion or something, or 11, $12 billion over 10 years, whatever it was. They're getting over $1 billion a year on the deal with Amazon. And you look at it, the Amazon games have been shit for the most part. So Amazon really kind of got fucked in that deal, if we're going to be honest with you. But even so, like I said, if you're in a local market, just like any other cable show, you still get to see the game in your local market. They'll broadcast it on your local television. And you can still find the games, and it's just, listen, timesheet. Here we are. Here I am. I'm broadcasting on YouTube, doing play-by-play and reaction to an NFL game. I couldn't do this 30 years ago. The media market, television market, everything has changed in that time. And the NFL, I think a lot of people would say, have personally been a little too slow to change with it. Sam Darnold holds that down, runs it himself. Sneaky athletic Sam Darnold gets it to the 50-yard line and a first down for the Minnesota Vikings, as they will move the chains and take over right at the Viking head at the 50. So, like, when it comes to that, like, I get the nostalgia for maybe how things were in the past. And yeah, I used to love being a kid and you watch the Giants at 1 o'clock and the Jets at 4 o'clock and then turning on. See, I want to know how old everybody here. Does anybody else remember when ESPN didn't have the sole rights to Sunday Night Football? Sam Darnold throws to Jones out of the backfield. Jones is going to get a gain of about 8 yards. 2nd down and 2 coming up here. I want to see if anybody else remembers this. I'm talking about late 80s, early 90s. Because ESPN used to have Sunday Night Football when Monday night was on ABC. And then when everything got changed and, things went over and then Fox got the deal and then NBC didn't have TV for a while. And then Sunday Night Football moved to NBC and Monday Night Football moved to ESPN and all that kind of stuff. But does anybody else remember what was the other channel that did half the season with ESPN for Sunday Night Football? ESPN did half the season. I think they did the second half. The first half was this other television station. I want to see if anybody remembers. Without Googling. Don't Google it. You're 35. You might remember. You'd be young, but you might remember. 3rd and 2. There was no gain on that play there for the Minnesota Vikings on that rush. Yeah, he might be hurt. Yeah, he's got a bruised ego. I see Melissa Stark reporting on that. Crafty Southpaw in the chat. Thank you so very much for the update there. When I saw Melissa Stark talking about him, I was like, are they going to try to say he's hurt? Sam Darnold, big ball down the field. That is going to be caught. Justin Jefferson, and 1st and goal for the Vikings. And just like that, the Vikings are looking to take the lead here in the 3rd quarter. First and goal from the 1, handoff, and that's going to be a loss of a yard or half a yard at least. 2nd and goal coming up here for the Vikings. Oh, Aaron Jones getting a little testy with the Colts defense. So I'm talking back and forth, a little bit of aggression. I'll give you to the end of the next play if anybody can guess. ELS would be my guy to guess. No Googling ELS, though. You don't get to Google. I know you're young, but you know a lot of shit like I used to. I used to know random shit. But I'm old. This one I know because I'm old. Second and goal coming up here. 3:33 remaining in the third quarter. Darnold takes the snap, but we have a stoppage in play. We got flags down. We got shit happening. And so we're up to flag number 9. What they're going to say, the Vikings take the timeout to avoid the penalty. Doesn't matter. Flag was thrown. Oh, I haven't put the timeouts back up yet. Jesus Christ. Why am I so terrible? So, anyway, timeouts are back up now. But the Vikings have used their first one. And that will go away now. So there we go. All right, now the timeouts, everything is good and set. Vikings have 2. Colts have 3. As we mentioned, 3:32 remaining. Clock is stopped after the penalty. Minnesota has 253 passing yards to Indianapolis, 28. Total yards, 332 for the Vikings, 128. And Minnesota is crushing on time of possession, 28 minutes to 12 for the Colts. So this has been a Vikings-dominated game, but they haven't put the points up on the board. They might do it here, as it's a pitch here to Jones, and Jones is going to lose 7 yards? Jesus Christ. Oh, I still had the flag up there, sorry. 7-yard loss. This game is making the Jets and Texans look good. Third and goal, Darnold in shotgun, takes a step back, looks, throws, caught! Touchdown! Aaron Jones with the reception touchdown. Jesus. I'm sorry, that was Naylor. Sorry. I saw 3. I thought it was Jones. It was not. It was Naylor. And he was nailing. And the Vikings now take a 13-7 lead, looking to go ahead and expand that with the extra point here. Snap, hold, kick up is good, and it is indeed now 14, not 4. I don't know why that happened. 14-7. Vikings over the Colts. The kicker seemed to be fine on that one, so maybe he just does extra points now. I don't know. Anyway, sorry for the yawn. This game is... Listen, if you're blaming me for yawning at this game, come on. By the way, just to... the answer to the question of back in the day, I'm talking about late 80s, early 90s, what other channel other than ESPN hosted Sunday Night Football? Well, there was ESPN Sunday Night Football, clearly. But there was also another station, I believe they did it early in the year, and ESPN did it later on, the later half of the year. And that would be your local TNT station, baby. There's Sunday Night Football on TNT. People forget about that. I remember it, and I remember the reason I remember it so distinctly was they used to have this graphic presentation where it would be like, the old, like early 90s computer graphics. But it was like for each team's area. Like for the Jets, it would be a picture of the New York skyline, but you'd see like fighter jets flying over. And he was like, shh. And as you're doing that in the buildings, you saw the Jets players. And then it would go to, you'd see like for Tampa Bay, you'd go to Tampa Bay and there'd be a pirate ship, and you'd be like, and they'd fire cannons and shit like that. It'd have old Bucko Bruce on the sail, and you'd see the players there. And then it would go, and it'd be like, you're flying through the water through South Florida, and you see a bunch of computer animated dolphins jumping in front of you. And it was like, that's like it was peak 90s bullshit, but it was for some reason it sticks in my head to this day. how TNT used to do the graphics. That shit was great back in the day. Good time. Just some memories. As we were talking about old TV and how we feel about old TV compared to how it is nowadays, with the streaming and Sunday Ticket and Red Zone and Netflix getting in on football and Peacock. You got the cock. Everybody's got to get the cock now to get the games and Amazon Prime and all that stuff. But that's one of the cool nostalgic things. I wish one of these guys would go real kind of apeshit with the intros again. And doing, like team and theme-based intros. That would be cool. Sam Darnold, looks like he might be a little ginger. Well, I mean, he's a ginger anyway, but looks like he might be a little ginger getting up. And we have another dynamic touchback, and the Colts will take over at the 30-yard line. Colts now down 7 after leading a majority of this game. Their offense has not done much with Joe Flacco in there. They have not looked any better with Joe Flacco in there compared to what they looked like with Anthony Richardson. If I'm the Vikings, got to worry about Sam Darnold and the knee. But here we go. Joe Flacco under center from the 30-yard line. It's going to be a pitch to Jonathan Taylor, and he goes nowhere. Maybe a yard, and the refs are going to give him 1 yard on the carry. 2nd and 9 coming up here for the Colts. Again, my name is King. This is Stay Tuned Sports. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We're watching it. We're watching it together. We're doing what we can do. If you like what you're watching, please give us a like. It helps us out tremendously. Thank you so very much. Also, share us. Give us a share. Hit that share button. People you know, people you don't know, people you love, people you hate, family, friends, whoever. Please share us around. The more eyeballs we get on us, the better. Of course, also, if you're watching us and are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Helps us out tremendously. 2nd and 9. Pass to Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield, and that's going to get a gain of about 4 yards. So 3rd and 5 coming up now for the Colts. Also, if you want to help us out a little bit more directly, we have a link for our donation station and our merch store right in the top of the chat. It's pinned up, by the way. Chat's open if you want to come in, say hi, say how you doing. How'd your team do this week? Did they do good? Did they do bad like my Giants? Did we do that? Come in. Chat's fine. Come talk to us in here. We would love to talk with you. But also, like I said, pinned at the top, links for our donation station and merch store. Just had a couple purchases made this week for a couple different shirts and hoodies, which are fantastic. Thank you guys for buying so much. Our latest product is a Rams 8-bit helmet. Big pass down the field, down at the 50-yard line. It's caught in a first down for the Indianapolis Colts. So they move the chains here, do the Colts, after not looking so great. Josh Downs with the first down. Hamster says, do I think the Cowboys... Yes, the Cowboys are missing the playoffs. That's not up for debate anymore. First down. Again, a pass to Downs, kind of a screen pass. He's able to get about 12 yards on the play. And the Colts all of a sudden got a little bit of rhythm going on this drive. Can they sustain it? Can they keep more? Or, again, the problem is they've had some penalties kind of trip them up as they just started getting some momentum. We'll see what happens here. But and again, handoff to Jonathan Taylor, gets half a yard of a gain on that one. As a simple answer to your question, no. Cowboys are not making the playoffs. Not close. Not even close. Not possibly close. No. The Cowboys are going to be fighting the Giants for the basement. The Cowboys only have 3 wins. Giants have 2. Cowboys only have 3. And that's going to do it for the third quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, mercifully, in this game, thank God, we can put the 4s up. Because it is the fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen. Get the 4s up. We only got one more quarter to go. 15 minutes left in this football Sunday. Will it get any better than these last 3 quarters? Because Jesus Christ, it's been bad. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, Cowboys aren't making the playoffs. Cowboys have as much chance of making the playoffs as the Giants do, which is none. They are doing that. Hamster with the 4 in the chat. Thanks for putting those 4s up. But yes, as I was saying before, links for the donation station and merch store in the top of the chat, pinned up there for you guys if you want to check it out. Latest products in there. We have Steelers 8-bit helmet. We have Rams 8-bit helmet. Those are the ones that have sold so far. Those are the ones we got 2 sales this week, so I'm very excited by that. Sales are, you got to wait to build your audience before you get some sales. But again, those have been fantastic. We got more stuff in there, more stuff coming. We got Seahawks 8-bit merch in there. We have Green Bay Packers 8-bit merch in there. We have Giants, Eagles. I haven't got the Jets in there yet. We're getting the Jets 8-bit in there as well, but we do have Giants and Jets alternate logo shirts and hoodies. Same for the Eagles. We still have my Daniel Jones Believe shirt in there. I don't know how many people are going to buy that one right now, but I still believe in Danny Dimes. So that shirt is in there as well. I still think we might have the Stay Tuned Sports fridge bottle cap popper, which you can also get as well, that it's branded with our beautiful Stay Tuned Sports logo. So if you want to go ahead and pick that up, you absolutely can. Or, again, if you just want to donate and help us out. Again, leader in the clubhouse when it comes to our donations is our good friend Pecan. He leads with $15 donated. He's laid the gauntlet down. He dares anybody to go ahead and donate more than him and to take his spot on the ticker, as you can see right here. Top contributor Pecan donated $15. You want to get a name on a ticker? You donate more than $15. Your name goes on there. But again, any donation that is made, we will give you a shout out here on the show, provided that I go ahead and check the actual website and make sure that it's there. Because I do have a problem of making sure to check it and make sure that we have everything there. In fact, why don't we go check it now? Let's go do that. Let's see. Has anybody else donated in that time? Not quite. So, again, if you do want to donate, we will give you a shout out. If you donate more than $50, you go on a ticker, babe. So here we go. 2nd and 10. Flacco steps up in the pocket, and he's going to be taken down. We have a flag down, though. And we've broached double digits on the flags. Having a bit of a conversation here as we're figuring out what are we going to call. They had to talk to the boss. Roger Goodell's in their ear, letting them know, hey, right now, what to call, how to call it, who does it benefit, what does it look like for the ratings. We have a personal foul chop block on the Colts. And just like we were talking about, whether or not they would have a bad penalty that would push them out of the rhythm that they were having, and they were just starting to get some stuff here. They've called it on Jonathan Taylor for the chop block. That's a little, I guess, maybe, I don't know. Either way, that is a big penalty and pushes them back 15 yards. 2nd and 25 now. Colts back all the way on their own 48-yard line after that penalty. They got a long way to go, and they're going to be moved back 5 more because that was an early jump. So flags up to 11. It's going to be 2nd and 30 coming up for the Colts. And just like that, that good offensive rhythm doesn't mean shit. I'm going to break my own neck trying to crack it. My God. So here we go. 2nd and fucking forever. Flacco in shotgun. Takes the snap. Low snap. Steps up. Avoid the pressure. Throws down the field. That is going to be... They're saying a catch. And a massive amount of yardage regained on one play. Mitchell, 1, 2, and he, wow, was that second foot down when this, 1, I don't know if that other foot's down when the second foot comes down. There's 1, The foot comes up, and then the second foot comes down. So that's not having 2 feet down, though. You have to have that second foot down when the other foot is down. I would imagine. Doesn't matter now because the snap is off. Joe Flacco throws a pick. Right to him. Right to him. Murphy. Right to him. Like, he's so blanket. What are you doing? Oh, Joe. What are you doing, Joe? And just like that, the Vikings have full and utter control of this game. Whoo, boy. Hamster saying the NHL needs to take over one of these days around the holidays because I always watch the Winter Classic. They need 2 or 3 outdoor games back to back. I'd lay here and watch them all. I don't know that. The outdoor games people think are kind of getting watered down anyway, so I don't know if you need more of those. But they tried to do it with the whole Thanksgiving Classic and doing, the Black Friday thing, but now football took that over. The NFL took that over. So, I mean, I think they're still doing it, but it takes a lot of eyeballs off it. Although I think the NFL game starts at like 3, and they usually start that at like around noon. So, I mean, you can kind of work it as a lead-in if you wanted to. And the NBA used to own Christmas until the NFL said, we own Christmas now. So it was, that was going to be a hard niche to break in there too. And there also might have been an agreement with the NHL and NBA, like, yeah, we're not going to step in your shit. We have New Year's, you have Christmas. We'll do that ever since they started the Winter Classic, because the NHL kind of, when it comes to the professional leagues, kind of they want to own New Year's before like the big playoff games happen, or they were where it used to be, the bowl games. But the bowl games don't really matter anymore until you get to the playoff games, and those happened later on in the evening on New Year's or even later. So the NHL kind of took over New Year's with the Winter Classic, which was cool. Although they got to get that back on broadcast TV, because having it on TNT, nobody can watch it. I missed it last year because I couldn't fucking find it. I don't have TNT, so I couldn't even watch the fucking thing. And that's something too. The NHL's got to work on its availability. But yeah, I would love to see the NHL be like on ABC and have just do one of those days where it owns it. I don't know when they can do that. For what holiday they could rock that for. Like, I'd like to see them do it maybe like Halloween or something. I don't know. 1st and 10, Darnold throws, and he instantly gets picked. And the Colts have the ball right back down to the 25-yard lines. Oh, my God, this game. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Can we just go? Put us out of our misery. Watch, this game's gonna go to overtime. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, Crafty. This game's on drugs. I wish I was on drugs watching this game. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Oh. So the Colts now set up 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. If Joe Flacco throws an interception on this pass, I swear to God. They're going to run it. Okay. Jonathan Taylor gets a yard, maybe. 2nd and 9.5 coming up here for the Colts on 2nd down. No, this one, I'll say this. This one is worse than Jets Texans. At least in the second half, it did pick up a little bit. It got a little bit more exciting. Boy, that catch from Garrett Wilson. Aaron Rodgers looked a little bit better. Jets defense was getting sacks. It was a little bit more lively. This is, and the football got a little bit better to watch. This is just bad football all around from both of these teams. Again, that's going to be thrown for almost no gain. Third and I want to say 8 here coming up for the Colts. Again, as this game has me again, it's been a long day anyway. This is the third game we're doing here. And I'm just getting a little tired, getting a little fatigued, and this game's not helping. If this game was better, I'd be a little bit more lively. Hey, wake, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? Da, 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 da. This has been, yeah. Joe Flacco takes a snap here on 3rd and 8. He throws into the feet of Michael Pittman Jr. Incomplete. 4th and 8 coming up. Boy, the Colts have... Changing quarterbacks has not improved the game at all for the Colts, and I'll say that right now. So, Hamster says, good idea about hockey on Halloween. You can have all day and an outdoor. Maybe you throw a Halloween outdoor game. Maybe. I'm not sure. Again, like I said, I think the outdoor game has, in the public's eye, might be a little watered down. Colts going for a field goal here. Snap, hold, kick, up. Whoa, that sucker was curling. But he got it in, and it is indeed good. So it is now a 4-point game. Colts 10, Vikings 14. 12:41 remaining, mercifully, in this game. See, that's the thing I like. Like, you could do Halloween, like each team could do a Halloween alternate uniform, something cool like that. You could have, you could set up and have the games all day. The thing with Halloween is that it's not a day that everybody has off, though. So you can't do like a noon and then 3 o'clock and then 6 o'clock and then 8 o'clock and then have Pacific games and start at 10 o'clock. Like, the good thing that happens with like the Thanksgiving games or the Black Friday games or the Christmas games or the New Year's games is that people have off. Everybody's off. Everybody's able to sit there. Everybody's able to sit down and watch all day. Sit down, stuff your face, get drunk, and watch sports all day. When it comes to Halloween, nobody has that unless Halloween's on a weekend. Nobody has that ability. Like, it's not a day that everybody has off. So it's an idea, but again, it's not something that I think can work like we're talking about in the long run. It would be something cool to see as like a one-off every now and then. Like, if Halloween is on the weekends, you go ahead, you throw, it's the Halloween games. But and then when you start getting later on in the year, like, I don't know. Maybe President's Day? Maybe have a President's Day game? Like, I don't know. I don't know what you do. I'll tell you what, you see now that the average NFL franchise is worth over $1.2 billion, and people still want to say Gary Bettman's not a good commissioner. Gary Bettman is the best commissioner in sports. He took the NHL, which was dying under the NHL was being run by crooks, was being run by charlatans, John A. Ziegler Jr. Like, people were embezzling money. Like, people forget this. The Tampa Bay Lightning were owned by the Yakuza. That's not a joke. The Tampa Bay Lightning, when they were started, their first couple years, the money, the capital that came to Phil Esposito when he wanted to own the team, the money he got was Yakuza money. This is the state that the NHL was in when Gary Bettman took over. And now you look at it now, this league has grown tremendously, has become one of the true Big Four sports in North America. And I again, for somebody who, again, I shit on Bettman. Listen, I will never say don't boo Bettman when he's handing out the cup. Boo Bettman all you want. That's fine. I'll boo Bettman all the time. But it's undeniable what the man has done as far as saving and elevating the game of hockey in the North American consciousness. So as much as there are things I don't like about him, especially when it comes to the lockouts and stuff, I will give the man his flowers. First down and 10. It's going to be a run here for Minnesota. It's going to be a gain of about 6 yards. 2nd and 4 coming up here. Darnold in shotgun. It's going to be another handoff. Big hole up the middle and all the way up to the 49.5-yard line. Cam Akers with the carry, the last 2 carries. And the Vikings, fresh set of downs, 1st and 10, from as close to midfield as you can get without being directly on the stripe. They are on the big Viking head, as they're looking to get some kind of score here that would, and the way this game is going, would put it out of reach. So 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Hand off to Akers again, and another big hole. And Akers runs all the way up to the 39-yard line. And that's going to be another Minnesota first down. So 12 yards on the carry. Gets a first down. Late in the game here, Cam Akers is coming in kind of almost like a closer here. Play action. Sam Darnold looking, just throws it into the ground. I guess somewhere in the vicinity, in the aura, that was Cam Akers. So they're not going to throw a flag for intentional grounding. 2nd and 10 coming up. Well, we shouldn't be tired because of the time change, because the time change gave us an extra hour of sleep. So we should be fine. It's just that I've done 3 fucking strip games, and this game happens to be boring as shit. 2nd and 10, it's going to be handoff to Akers, and he's going to get lucky if he gets back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 coming up here for the Vikings. I think it might feel later because the fact that the sun basically went down an hour earlier than it did yesterday. And some people get the whole thing with that light sensitivity, or, they get the seasonal depression or whatever. I don't get that. I get happy when it gets darker. So that's just me. I enjoy the winter, fall and winter. And I want them to stop changing the goddamn times. We are at standard time right now. Keep it fucking standard. So here we go. 3rd and 10. Darnold is going to get absolutely murdered back at the 50. 4th down coming up for Minnesota as this game just won't end. This game just won't end. Oh, dear sweet Lord. Dear sweet googly moogly. It's going to be a punt here. And like I said, if this game was a little more better, had good football going on, I think we'd be up a little bit more. But boy, this game is hard. Punt all the way down near the 10. It's going to be returned up to the 22-yard line by the Colts. And that is where Joe Flacco will take over, looking to take the lead on this drive. Can he? Based on his last couple drives, no. It's a shame. The Colts traded, not traded, but they signed Flacco in the offseason, thinking they were going to get late season Browns Flacco. They got Jets Flacco. Yeah. Yikes. Not great. Ow, I got an itchy back, man. Well, I've been sitting down for a while, so you get the back down on the seats for a while. It gets a little... Guys, you get a little itch. It happens. I used to have a back scratcher. I got a back scratcher here somewhere. The old bear claw back scratcher. I love those things. Those things get you real good. Right in the upper back there, right where it's hard to reach it. You see me here scratching like that? Yeah, those are good. I like those. Back scratcher. I gotta pop my hip here too. There's a lot going on. I'm an old man. I'm old. I'm cranky. Tired. Just waiting for this game to end. Listen, if we can get some kind of excitement here at the end, at least we'll have something. So I am hoping for. I'm not just hoping for the end of the game. If this game is going to continue to go the way that it has, just fucking end the game. Like, that's where I'm at. But if you're going to give me some excitement, you're going to give me a deep pass, big touchdown, a couple lead changes. Let's fucking go. Then I'm all right. Then you're going to catch my attention. I'm going to be back, going to be awake, and going to be ready to go here for you. But we keep on doing this Mickey Mouse shit. Like, come on. Here's the other thing, too. If I'm a Vikings fan, I'm worried. Because, again, the stats look good. You've put up great stats, yardage and possession and all these things. But, again, massive turnovers, big turnovers in big spots. And, again, you're struggling with a team that is not playing well. And you have to look at this game and look at your team and say, for all the yards we're gaining between the 20s, man, we kind of still look like shit. And we're leaving points on the board. You left how many points on the board with the field goals? And just poor offensive in in key moments. And yeah, you got a big play here and a big play there, but you're not putting it together to put points on the board. And that is a problem. Next week, Sunday Night Football, we've got the Detroit Lions off their big win against the Green Bay Packers, taking on C.J. Stroud and what I would say is the struggling Houston Texans. Even at 6-3. Again, I never bought into the Texans, and when they were 6-2, and then you lose to the Jets, and definitely not playing well. They are playing in Houston, so maybe that helps them, but they are not playing well as of this moment. 1st and 10. Flacco throws the ball to Jonathan Taylor. They're going to say incomplete. That's close to a lateral, but they say incomplete pass. And this is a big game. If the Colts win this game, they are right back in the AFC South race, even though they would still, they got swept by Houston. Minnesota, if they lose this game, boy, it is really the Lions' division to lose at this point, as they are 7-1, and the Vikings would be 5-3. So, Vikings desperately need to hold on and win this game. Colts, Joe Flacco, 2nd and 10, throws down the field, caught! And a 1st down. Pierce with the catch. And it's a moving of the chains. Can the Colts stay out of their own way here and actually get some points on the board? We'll see. Again, a good throw, good play from Flacco, but can he, you got to string it together, and that's something he hasn't been able to do all game here. He's thrown some bad interceptions in this game. Again, a handoff to Jonathan Taylor, who has not been able to get going at all in this game. Gets a gain of a couple there. 2nd down coming up here for the Colts. That's the thing I think I might be most surprised at, is how little Jonathan Taylor has had an impact on this game. It was a 4-yard gain. I didn't know if it was that much. But 2nd and 6 coming up here for the Colts. .03:02:01 left here in the 4th quarter. It's going to be an end around, close to a 1st down, but about 1.5 yards short. So 3rd down and short coming up here for the Colts. Ashton Doolin was the man on the end around there, as we're at 7:40 and counting remaining here in the game. 3rd and 1. Colts get to the line. We look at the coaches on the sideline looking invested in how their teams do. Pittman in motion. Snap. Hand off to Taylor, and he finally breaks it loose, breaks it free, and he's going to get to the Vikings' 47-yard line. And that's going to be a 1st down. So now the Colts are in Vikings territory. And they have a fresh set of downs. Taylor finally makes a play in this game, gets a first down, gets some yardage. Not a big play, but a significant play, at least. We'll put it that way. Another handoff here to Taylor. That's going to be a gain of 4 yards, 2nd and 6 again. As we take a look here, good block there from the wide receiver. So here we go, 2nd and 7. They call 2nd and 7, not 2nd and... I thought he got 4 yards. They're saying only 3. Snap. It's going to be a handoff here. And that's going to be a gain of about 6. 5. More like 5. That was more like 5. And I was right. Yeah, it's gain of 5. Because it's 3rd and 7 now. Trey Sermon with the carry. That's some of his first action of the game, as we've seen here. 3rd and 2 coming up for the Colts. Joe Flacco under center. Pittman is in motion. Flacco does a play action. Throws down the field. That's going to be contested. Pittman dropped the ball because he was hit as soon as it got to him. So, 4th and 2. Colts got the ball. What will they do? I think they're going to go for it. Yep, this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Late night. I am starting to sing my commentary. Nothing else I can say about that. Just that's just where we are. It's just where we are in the night. I got. There's no excuse, and there's no there's no shame. There's no shame. The fact that I can sing commentary, I think, is actually pretty neato burrito. So, here we go. 5:24 remaining. 4th and 2. Flacco is in shotgun. From the 40-yard line, they have to get to the 38. Flacco looks, throws across. Caught but dropped as he was hit. Ashton Doolin had it, dropped it. Turnover on downs. Vikings get the ball. And another Colts drive ends with no points. And this game can just mercifully end at this point. Like, if the Vikings just want to run the ball and run the clock out, you have my permission. You have my permission. Go right ahead. Do it. End it. End. Turn it off. Turn it off. Hamster with a good question here in the chat. How long do you think it is before the NFL has an international team? They just need their own division, so it helps with travel. Yeah, that's the hang-up. That's going to be the hang-up, is if the NFL decides to do that, they're going to have to expand and have basically 4 teams internationally. So you're either moving a team and then expanding 3, or but you can't move a team out of the division because then it's so you'd have to expand. But expand by just one division, where do you put that division? Like, you can't have a conference with 4 divisions and one with 5 divisions. You can't it's a thing. That's a serious discussion. You have to talk about either some kind of realignment if you wanted to do that, or something. So I don't know that that's going to happen. I think the closest the only thought I could see there being is it would have to be. It's either going to be London or somewhere in Germany. I think those are the 2 obvious areas that they would go to, because over there you could still have a game. It would be a primetime game for them, and it would be like a 1:00 game over here. And it would basically have to be they would have to make long trips over here and do a road trip like NHL teams do West Coast trips for when they play the teams out on the West Coast, or East Coast trips if you're a West Coast team coming out to the East Coast. They would have to do that. Only it would be, them coming over here, and teams that go over there to play them, it would have to be followed up by like a bye. There would be like they wouldn't be able to play Thursday games. It would be like basically a no Thursday game thing unless you have them over here for like 3 or 4 straight games. Maybe you pull that off. But that's the other thing too. Having games over here, you're talking about every game over there. Especially then if you decide to put them on, if they are good, you'd want to put them on prime time, but you wouldn't be able to because a prime time game here would be 2 o'clock in the morning over in England or in Germany. Like that makes it tough. 1 yard gain for Jones on first down. As I forgot to move the possession ball again, so we'll move that over to the Vikings after the turnover on downs. So I think that's the logistics of it is a problem. And unless you can get supersonic air travel again, which is not coming anytime soon, that's I think another hindrance. So international team, as far as European international, no. 2nd and 9. That's going to be caught by Addison, and that's going to be a first down as the Vikings now are in Colts territory. 4:29 remaining and counting in this game. You said, I can't believe Canada doesn't have a team. Yeah, I think the NFL has been very reluctant to step on the CFL's toes, despite the fact that the NFL could absolutely crush the CFL. I think there still is a bit of a business agreement, business understanding, gentleman's agreement when it comes to the Canadian Football League of, we're not going to fuck with you totally. They kind of did a little bit when they had the Bills in Toronto, those couple of games, but nobody showed up. So that kind of killed, I think, any interest of there being a Canadian NFL team. Handoff to Jones, and he's going to break it off to the left, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds as both players kind of crash out of bounds. As both players seem to be talking, no animosity there. It just seems to be like, tough football play. It happens. But it's going to be very close to a first down. Don't think it is. It's going to be just short, about a half a yard short. But good play by Aaron Jones. And the Vikings are set up here to be, well. So, again, when it comes to the question of, whether Canada has a team, like, unless the CFL completely collapsed, which they got close to during COVID. So I don't know, and they're still not on great financial footing. Unless the CFL completely collapses, I don't think the NFL is going to go up there. 1st and 10, they did give them the first down, so I didn't think they would, but they gave them the first down, and that's going to be about a 7-yard gain on first down. So Vikings completely controlling the pace of the game here, and the way it's going, they might just run this one out. They're going to score here. Unless they turn the ball over, which, with the way this game's going, possibility. So, Hamster. Is the Stanley Cup rigged against Canadian teams? No. There's just a lot fewer Canadian teams than there is American teams. And it's harder for Canadian teams because the Canadian dollar is so weak. And Aaron Jones, so close. 2nd and 3, he's going to be about 2 inches short. Because here's the thing. Players in the NHL have to be paid in American dollars, even if they play in Canada. They have to get paid in American dollars. But Canadian teams, they make their money in Canadian dollars. And the people who show up to the games, buy the tickets, buy the concessions, all that shit. That's all in Canadian dollars. So there's a big discrepancy because of the difference between a U.S. dollar and a Canadian dollar and how weak the Canadian dollar is. It's a financial burden for some of these Canadian teams to try to compete and to match the contracts that the American teams can do. So you're talking about there's fewer teams. They're at a financial disadvantage. And that's the other reason why everybody was complaining about, why didn't they move the Coyotes to Quebec? Why don't they move somebody to Quebec? Why don't they do anything on Quebec? Because it's a non-money making move for the NHL to go to Quebec. Like, they moved the Thrashers to Winnipeg, and now Winnipeg is very close to moving out of Winnipeg again because they can't make any money. Again, they play in the smallest arena. 6-7 yard gain here for Jones on 3rd and inches. And that's going to be a first down. The Colts are using their timeouts here. I didn't even notice I was talking about Canadian football teams and hockey teams here. So again, it's when it comes to the Stanley Cup, it's just there's far more American teams. The odds are you're gonna have an American team in there more than a Canadian team. And then if you do happen to get a Canadian team in there, their talent level and ability to compete may not be the same as the American teams, who can afford better players and more depth. And I think you saw that in the series with the Oilers and the Panthers. Is the Panthers again? They got down, what was it, 3-1 in that series, and then were able to come back and won, or they were up 3-1 and Edmonton came all the way back. Either way, yeah, that was it. Florida was up like 3-1. Edmonton started all the way back. Or they were up 3-0. Edmonton came all the way back. It was 3-0, then 3-3, and then the Panthers did win it. They didn't collapse. They did win it, but either way, like I said, the opportunity was there. You know, the Canadian teams have had opportunities. The Montreal Canadiens, we forget, in the bubble in the COVID year, they were in the Stanley Cup Finals and were unable to win it. We've had the Senators have been in it. The Flames have been in it. The Oilers were in it again in the early 2000s. They were in it. Like the Canadian teams have had chances to win. The Canucks, you know, as we saw when they rioted when Boston won against them, and they had to riot. You know, they were in there. Like the Canadian teams have had plenty of chances, more so than you would think, for just having 7 teams in a 32-team league. But they, you know, it's like I said, it's a number of factors. It's the odds, and it's the dollar. It's the Canadian dollar. It's just weak. So, yeah, dude, the Devils last year were high expectations, low turnout. Our goaltending was bad. Our defense was bad. Again, we got Markstrom this year, hoping that we were going to get better with our goaltending, and it's been a little hit or miss. So, got to get better with that. Again, still got to get better with defense. Our offense is fucking amazing. It's great, which I never thought I'd say about the Devils. Devils were always a defensive team first. But, man, oh, man, oh, man. Like, consistency. If the Devils can get consistent, we'll be good. Like, again, it almost feels like talking about your Falcons. If you can get consistent, you can get good. If the Devils can get consistent, they'll be good, and they will definitely be a force to reckon with in the NHL because their offense is spectacular. So they need consistent goaltending and consistent defense. They fix that. They get that chumming real good. They'll be good. Oh, okay. For that year, yeah, I remember that. I'll get to that in a second here. As it's 1st and 10, handoff to Jones, going to lose a yard. I watched that. Obviously, I watched that year too. I watched them beat the Rangers in overtime in Game 6, which was fantastic, by the way. But then I blew out my back. Not that way. Get your head out of the gutter. My disc exploded. I had a lower disc absolutely explode in my lower back. Had to have surgery. So I was in surgery and was in recovery for Game 1. I'm watching that, and the Devils, of course, got down 3-0 in that series. We're able to come back, won 2 games, and then the refs fucked us in Game 6. I'm not even going to talk about how Game 6 fucked us. The Devils could have still done well in that series, but Darnold throws, touchdown. I believe that was Oliver. Indeed it was. Touchdown, Vikings, and that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to end this game as the Vikings go ahead and they get a touchdown. And this game is going to mercifully be over. 10-point lead, 20-10. Extra point will make it 11. Time's running out. Colts have done nothing. Oh, boy, it's almost over. It's almost over. No, quick on that. Listen, the Kings were that team that got hot at the right time. They were the 8th seed, but they went into the playoffs hotter than maybe anybody else. They buzzed through the Western Conference playoffs, even being the 8th seed. They were going into the playoffs. They were the best team playing. Even though they were an 8th seed, they were the best team playing. And they buzzed through everybody. And they started buzzing through the Devils. The Devils made a comeback. And then we got really fucked by the refs in that Game 6 with the 10-minute misconduct penalty for bullshit, just absolute nothing. Gave us a 5-minute major, like whatever. This is bullshit call. Don't get me started on it. It's been 12 years and I'm still pissed about it. But yeah, Kings were good that year, though. Again, like I said, they were kind of running shit that year. Can't argue it. But again, we beat the Rangers in overtime in Game 6, so I still got a good memory. Hamster, what's the biggest takeaway from this NFL week? That's a great question, and I'd love to know your answer to your own question too. And you can let that know in the chat, and I'll share it with everybody when they see it. Baltimore, again, good, dangerous, but still inconsistent. I'll say that. Brian Daboll sucks, as does Nick Sirianni. And Daboll has cost the Giants so many games this season that are directly his fault. So again, still not a believer in Philadelphia. The Cardinals might be something. And Detroit's still the best. My biggest takeaway, I think I'll say that for right now, I think the Lions are still the best NFL team in the league right now, and they're playing the best. Even though I still have the Chiefs as my number one team in the power rankings, and they will continue to be so long as they continue to win. But right now, there's no team in the NFL playing better than the Detroit Lions. That is my biggest takeaway. It's the Lions league. Joe Flacco is going to be sacked here on 1st and 10. It's going to be 2nd and 20 after the sack. My God. Pecan, wherever you are, that white flag idea is not a bad idea. Just take that white flag out, chuck it mercifully in this game. Yeah, I think the Lions are the best team. And the Cardinals, again, my biggest thing was I wondered how the Bears were going to react to how they lost to Washington last week. Because, again, they didn't play the best game anyway. But you got the late lead. You figure you're going to win. And then to lose like that is a bit crushing. Can be, how does your maturity handle that? And the Bears came out and laid an egg. They laid an egg. 3 field goals, 9 points. You lose by 20 to Arizona. And that's the thing. It's a question of Arizona's been squeaking these games out. This game was not a squeaker. The Arizona came out against the Bears defense that isn't bad. The Bears defense isn't bad. But you go up, you put almost 30 points up on them. The Bears can do nothing offensively. Caleb Williams did nothing today, except almost get hurt. And that's a question that people are going to ask too. But again, you have the Bears with back-to-back losses. I think we're seeing a little bit of that come down. Everybody was kind of high on the Bears, like, oh, maybe they're doing something. Maybe they're getting better. And the last 2 weeks, we've seen them not play well against Washington, and then lose a game that they had right in their hands, literally, and lost. Because that can do a lot for you as well. Like, you're not playing well, but you still win a game where you don't win well. I mean, ask Arizona. Arizona's won these close games where they haven't played the best, but they have found a way to win. And that can give you confidence. And it gave them confidence enough to blow out the Bears today. And now you talk about Arizona is one of those teams now in the NFC West that can kind of control their own destiny here. You got the Rams now at 4-4, Cardinals at 5-4. The Niners have a bye, so they're still at 4-4. And you have the Seahawks at 4-5 with the loss today to the Rams. So NFC West is still wide open. But where we kind of were thinking like, oh, Rams, especially if they get healthy, and Niners, especially if they get healthy, now you kind of have to throw the Cardinals into that mix. Bears and Caleb ain't that good. They should have lost to the Titans. I don't disagree. I think they might have probably could have lost to a couple other games. I don't think they should have. A lot. I'm not going to say smoke and mirrors. Again, he's a rookie quarterback. It's anybody thinking the Bears were going to be a playoff powerhouse in year one of this guy was fucking fooling themselves. So having that expectation is stupid. But here we go. 2nd and 18. Joe Flacco is going to get sacked again. He was tripped up. He was slow in the pocket. That's going to be another massive loss. It's going to be 3rd and the Jersey Turnpike here coming up. Colts take a timeout. 1:51 remaining. I mean, not that it matters. Again, you're down 11 points. You're not like what you haven't done anything all game offensively. Like, what are you going to do in the last minute 51 that you didn't do for the other 57, whatever, 57 minutes, 50, come on. 58 minutes, yeah, 58 minutes and 9 seconds. And now, with 154 now. So 58 minutes, 6 seconds. What are you going to do in the next minute 54 that you haven't done in the rest of the fucking game? Joe Flacco, he does get it off on 3rd and 22. But this one's going to be 4th and forever. Trey Sermon with the reception out of the backfield here. 4th and 13. They have to get to the 40-yard line for a first down. Joe Flacco in shotgun takes the snap. The Vikings are coming right after him. Thrown. That's going to be caught for a first down. Josh Downs with the catch. It's a first down Colts. Jesus Christ. They can't even just end the game. Can't even just end the game. Clock running, though, as the Colts have no more timeouts left. I don't know why. I thought I took that timeout off. Oh, I hit the wrong one. I hit home, not visitor. There we go. Flacco sacked again. And clock's going to continue to tick. 56, 55, 54. This is academic at this point. But we got to play it out. As the Vikings are too busy dancing, realizing they have to get to the other side of the ball. Fake spike situation, and it's dropped. Well, we have a flag. Too many men on the Vikings. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down. So that would be my question to you, Hamster. What is your, and anybody in the chat, you can answer this question. What's your biggest takeaway from NFL Sunday, Week 9? That would be a great question for everybody in there. I think Hamster might be the only one in there. But if you're watching along still with me here, come in the chat, answer the question. As we only have a couple more seconds here. 39 seconds left. Joe Flacco throws all the way down the field, mercifully intercepted, but we have a flag down. They're going to call pass interference on this one. The game's still not going to be over. 33 seconds left. Pass interference on the Vikings. We're up to 13 on the flag counter. Automatic first down. Stephen Gilmore with the penalty. Tom Grossi on Twitter, very upset that indeed the Vikings' downfall is not happening. Colts are going to go for a field goal as they do need 11 points here, so they would need a field goal and then a touchdown and 8 points. So they're going to go for it now, 33 seconds left, and then go for the onside kick. We'll see if it works. If it does, I'm going to be pissed. So here we go, 54 yards. This is no gimme, but they are at a dome. Snap, hold, kick, up. That's going to be good. So now comes the onside kick part. Maybe you put in Anthony Richardson here for the last one. See what happens. Can't be any worse than what Joe Flacco's done today. Holy shit. Vikings have Jacksonville, Tennessee, Chicago, Arizona, and Atlanta upcoming. So they're okay until they hit Arizona and Atlanta. Colts have Buffalo, the Jets, who might be resurgent. That's going to be a Sunday night game. Detroit and New England, and then a bye. So you could have 3 losses there or be 2-2 before the bye. Ugh. Not great for the Colts, especially where they're playing. And the way they're playing, that might be 3 losses. And listen, they might lose to the fucking Patriots, too. Minnesota should win the next. Should. But again, it's the NFL. You never know what can happen, but should win the next 3. So here we go. 28 seconds left. Onside kick attempt. They are on the 35-yard line. Ball has to get to the 45-yard line. If they do recover it, it is in very good field position. But they have to get it there. Timeout, Minnesota, as they're going to ice the onside. So Minnesota with 1 timeout left, and of course they just want to extend this game even further. Even further. We're there. We're almost there, folks. We're almost at the finish line. Thank you so much for joining us here on Stay Tuned Sports. My name is King. It's been a blast all day watching the NFL with you. This game been a bit of a slog, if I'm going to be honest with you. Been a little bit of a, sludging and trudging through to get here. But here, we're here. We're here, baby. We are here. And we're almost at the finish line. So thank you for joining us here on Stay Tuned Sports. If you want to help us out a little bit more directly, we have links for our donation station and merch store in the top of the chat as well as the description below this video. So here we go. Onside kick. Getting ready. Colts setting up. Let's see if they get the bounce or not. Here comes the kick. It is a high bouncer, and it is recovered by Minnesota, and that will end the game mercifully. 27 seconds left. Indianapolis, no timeouts. Minnesota's just got to kneel on the ball. And that will be the end of the day, end of the game, end of the night. And we will all be able to go home and have sweet, sweet, happy endings. I mean, sweet dreams. I mean, whatever. Whatever you get when you get home. I don't know. We're not all Deshaun Watson here. I hope all your happy endings are consensual. So here it is. There is indeed... Not a lowercase. What are we doing here? What are we, amateurs here? Anyway, that's the final. The Minnesota Vikings get the victory on what has been one of the worst Sunday night games I've seen in a minute. 21-13 over the Indianapolis Colts. Both teams sucked. Somebody had to win. Turned out it was the Vikings. Congratulations to the Vikings. They end the 2-game skid. End up 6-2. Now just a game behind the Lions, who are 7-1 in the division. The Packers, what are they sitting at? 5-3. And the Bears are 4-4. So the NFC North kind of doing a little bit of its separating now, and we're finding out who is where, who belongs where. Still, the Vikings still have a lot to worry about. They still have a lot to work on, clearly. But that is it, hamster. I will see you tomorrow night for Monday Night Football. Again, I hope I see all of you here for Monday Night Football as the Chiefs take on the Buccaneers. Thank you so very much. If you liked what you've watched, please hit that like button. Please, if you're watching and have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to help us out a little bit more directly, we have our links for the donation station and the merch store, which you can go ahead, which is like donating, except you get a cool piece of apparel, a shirt or hoodie, if you will. We have those links down in the description below this video. But after a very long day and doing 3 straight games here, it is time for me to hit the hay because I am tired of shit. So thank you so much. My name is King. This has been Stay Tuned Sports, and I will see you all tomorrow night for Chiefs Buccaneers. Later, everybody.